In accordance with section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, be advised that notice of this meeting was made by President of Bolton, Florida Town Hall, representation designated newspapers to list the Monday advertisement, indicating that this meeting will take place at the Milburn Board of Education building at 7 p.m. on Monday, January 12th, 2026.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to administer oaths of office. I believe the only two who that applies to are David Bradford, who's zoning board of adjustment member, as well as Craig Pletner. Welcome back, Craig. Also zoning board of adjustment member. So I'm going to ask you both to raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, David Bradford,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
and the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear or affirm
Further solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and
perform all the duties of the office of zoning board of adjustment member
perform all the duties of the adjustment
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. I'm going to ask each one of you to sign these, and I will notarize your signatures. Never change. So now you can roll.
David Bradford,
Here.
Craig Pletner,
Here.
Gary Littleton,
Here.
Regina Truitt,
Here.
Doug Dahl,
Here.
No Beetle Robert,
Joseph
Caulfield.
Here.
Jessica Black.
Here.
This time, we will accept nominations for chair.
I would like to nominate someone for chair who has previously held the position for quite a while. He took a brief retirement, but I knew that he would not be able to stay away for long because he's wonderful on this board and we're really glad to have him back, and that is Craig Pletner.
We accept the nomination.
I do. Yes.
Are there any other nominations for chair?
Did you need a second?
I don't. Is there a second?
Second. That's fine.
David Bradford,
Yes.
Craig Pletner,
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Oh, yes.
Doug Dahl.
Yes.
Joseph Caulfield.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
Yes.
Necessary.
There we go.
Oh, well, welcome back.
Got it.
All right, look at me. Familiar. Okay, moving on from here, we also have to nominate our vice chair. In keeping with, sort of what was, and a person that has always, worked incredibly well, on the board, and one who's been on the board, I think the longest now, by a long time. I would like to nominate Jessica Glad. And I'm certainly open to any other nominations, but otherwise, if I could have a second.
Second.
No roll call on that, or?
Yeah.
No.
David Bradford.
Yes.
Craig Pletner,
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yes.
Doug Dahl.
Yes.
Joseph Caulfield.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
We're done. Next up, we have the appointment of our board attorney. I'm not sure there's anyone else in line for this, so could I have a nomination, please?
I nominate Rob Simon as board attorney.
Anyone else up for the nomination? I will second that.
David Bradford.
Yes.
Pletner.
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yes.
Doug Dahl.
Yes.
Joseph Caulfield.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much.
You're so
Look forward
welcome.
to it.
Now, for the most important job in the room, okay, all of us
This
are
could be
just,
the year.
right, all of us
Be
are
nice,
just
be
ceremonious.
nice.
Not the year.
Is it?
It's a 5-year term.
Exactly. It's actually- it's lifetime.
Yeah.
It's like a Superior Court judge, actually. So Supreme Court judge. For the appointment of Board Adjustment Secretary, the bench is deep. But we're gonna, see what we got here. So can I have a nomination for Board Adjustment Secretary?
I nominate Eileen Zabit as Board Adjustment Secretary.
Are there any other nominations? Unfortunately.
Don't get a choice that I can't decline, right?
Exactly. Still can't decline. Do I have a second?
Second,
David Bradford,
Yes.
Ed Clantner,
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
yes,
Deb Stoll.
yes,
Joseph Caulfield.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
yes.
Next we have the annual notice. So the dates we have listed here are through June. I'm
I will say,
assuming that's.
the May date, currently I can't have it.
That's the 11th?
They're doing AP testing and not at night, but they're kind of hesitant, so letting them to that date. So I don't know if you want to put it on and then cancel it. I won't be here anyway, I'll be on vacation for that meeting, but.
Well, I guess it comes down to, are you gonna schedule applications for that day?
I probably won't.
Yeah.
I might find out later in the day, later in 3 months that they might give us. We might also be in the library. So,
We also have 2 meetings in April and 2 meetings in June, so if we miss that, we can catch up.
Alright, so let's leave it on,
okay.
and then if
Yeah.
we get more concrete, then you can put applications on, otherwise we won't. So
Yeah.
currently presented as through January through June. Can I have a motion to approve that as presented?
Second,
Okay. And roll call, we're just doing it.
I don't know, can we do
Do
it?
a roll call.
Okay.
David Bradford.
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
yes,
Beth Dahl.
yes,
Joseph Caulfield.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
yes.
Nick Brennan.
Yes. Okay, next up, we're getting into more into our business now. We have the approval of the minutes of 12/8/25. Any corrections or changes? If not, who's eligible to, obviously, I'm not.
Everyone except you.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Yes.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Success. Motion passes. Next up, we have our memorializations, starting with calendar 40/40/25. Mark Panterer at 1 Moraine Place, Short Hills. Any corrections or changes to that memorialization? If not, can I have a motion to approve that?
Eligible are David Bradford, Regina Truitt, Beth Dahl, Joseph Caulfield, Jessica Black.
Make motion to be approved as written.
Thank you, and a second.
Second,
David Bradford,
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
yes,
Beth Dahl. Yes. Joseph Caulfield.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
yes,
Okay, next up, we have calendar 40/50/25, Gaurav Casey, Shilpika Dalkal, 22 Hobart Avenue in Short Hills. Who's eligible?
Same.
Any corrections or changes? If not, can I have a motion?
make a motion to approve calendar 40502-2.
Great, a second.
I'll second.
David Bradford,
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yes.
Beth Dahl.
Yes.
Joseph Caulfield.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
Yes,
Next up, we have calendar 40/60/25, Howard Drew at 50 Farmstead. Same crew.
Eligible are David Bradford, Gary Rosen, Regina Truitt, Jessica Black.
Any corrections or changes? If not, a motion.
A motion to approve calendar number 40/60/25.
second,
David Bradford.
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
yes,
Lastly, calendar 40/61/25, Ying Zhang at 15 Ridge Terrace in Short Hills. Who we have?
David, Gary, Regina, Beth, Joe, Jessica.
Any corrections or changes? If not, a motion to approve.
Motion to approve as written.
David Bradford.
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yeah.
Beth Paul.
Yeah.
Joseph Caulfield.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to our first application, we have a couple to be carried first. So if you're here this evening on calendar 405125, which is 521 MA Properties located 521 Lower Avenue, that is being carried to a date to be specified later, correct?
They're
Yeah.
they're renoticing for February second.
So if you're here for that February 2nd, or if you're playing along at home on YouTube. Calendar,
That'll take place at this location.
Yes,
and no further notice, well, I guess you'll have to give notice to that.
yeah, they had.
Yeah, that's something else, okay. So calendar 402525 also will be carried, that's 44 Essex Street, which is 111 Holdings. That one will also be carried, is that slated for a similar date or?
I have it scheduled for February second for scheduling one.
Okay, February 2nd for scheduling Holdings, there's probably gonna be an update to that, so those two will be carried.
Right, well, so, but we're gonna, because it's for scheduling only, that application will be carried to the February 2nd, 2026 date. This location, 7 o'clock for scheduling purposes.
Correct.
Thank you.
So first up this evening, we have calendar 405825, Diamond Towers, 137 JFK property. Mr. Skolnick, come on down.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna be recusing myself from this particular application due to a conflict. We have John DeLuca from Savile Shock who's gonna be filling in for me on this application, so I will exit stage left.
Thanks.
Stage, yes. stage left.
It'll be the standard.
Yeah, I know, it's check, yes.
Hello, very good.
Good.
Happy to be here.
There's no microphone here.
I know you should speak up.
Disappointed. Congratulations.
Thank you
You
so
have
much.
clearly not missed a beat. I was worried you were gonna maybe take the agenda out of order, maybe try to adjourn the meeting before we got started, but you're spot on. You're right on it. Thank you. I'm representing Diamond Towers 5 LLC, which is a tower company. And it's the successful bidder on a municipal bid to install communications tower on township-owned property, 137 JFK Parkway. It's block 5401, lot 1 on the tax maps. It's the township's leaf composting facility, and we're in the C zone. I know even after about 30 years of cell phones and the wireless business, the township has still not adopted a wireless ordinance, which would give the cell tower community some direction on where to go and where to place their facilities. There's no conditional use standards, there's no bulk standards for towers. So anywhere that a tower company or a carrier would seek to place antennas would require the D1 use variance and the 5 votes. But we're guided, of course, by the bid that has gone out by the township committee, and my client has won that bid. So we're proposing the tower at the leaf composting facility. The tower is proposed to have antennas from Verizon, that's the lead carrier. There's also going to be municipal antennas on this tower that was part of the bid. So there's a municipal element. We have the township engineers, November 21st, review memorandum saying that we're handling stormwater adequately. We have a whole series of other review letters, no issues. We can add landscaping, we can widen the little road that comes in, no problem with that. We'll endeavor to be relatively brief. Ms. David told me no jokes. No jokes. I disregarded that, but we'll see what we can do. I have Josh Cottrell, he's the civil engineer, just to explain what we're doing physically. The radio frequency engineer is Andrew Peterson. He'll explain why Verizon needs this site for its network. And then we have a planner, Brian Seidel, to sort of wrap it all together with the criteria. Hopefully I can do it in 10 minutes, each witness, but we'll see what the board says. We'll endeavor to be brief, and if the board needs more info, we'll go that way.
Sounds good.
Okay, Josh, if we could have him sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you.
Just qualify everyone right away for me, thanks.
Okay, your qualifications?
Sure, I have a bachelor's in civil engineering Rutgers. I've been a licensed engineer for 23 years. I still hold a valid civil engineering license in the state of New Jersey. I have testified before over 100 boards throughout New Jersey.
Thank you, your qualifications are accepted.
Okay, Jeff, can you go over what we have? Call out the sheet numbers. These are the revised plans that we submitted after we got those comments.
Sure, so I'm just gonna refer to the plans that you guys should have. It's last revised October 27th, 2025. So I'm just gonna go right into the read. I'm gonna flip the sheet SP-1A, which is the third sheet in the set. So as we had indicated, the subject property is block 5401, lot 1. It's over a 12-acre parcel, operated by the DPW. It's an existing compost yard, storage yard. There's an existing paved access driveway off of John F. Kennedy Parkway. So the existing access is going to be utilized by Verizon and Diamond. We're gonna propose a new gravel access drive off the paved drive back to the proposed tower location. So that driveway currently is proposed at 12 feet wide. The fire official had a comment that they would like it 20 feet wide for fire apparatus, so we will comply with that. So it'll increase to 20 feet wide. Still gravel. The proposed compound is 50 foot by 50 foot. It's gonna be a 6-foot high chain link fence with a barbed wire on top for security. It'll have a 12-foot wide gate. Inside the compound, Verizon Wireless will install a 10-foot by 25-foot concrete equipment pad along with their equipment. There's also space allocated for municipal equipment if they have the need to install equipment and antennas on the tower. The 150-foot monopole will be located within the center of the compound. 150 foot. Verizon Wireless will install 3 antennas in each of 4 sectors. So a total of 12 antennas at the 145-foot centerline elevation. Again, Verizon Wireless will install a 10 by 25-foot concrete pad. Included with that equipment is a 30 kW diesel power generator.
Can you move to sheet SP2
I just
now?
moved to sheet SB2.
Same revision date?
Same revision date. It's just a blow up of the compound area and it shows the tower elevation as well. As you can see, there's ample space inside the compound for future carriers. Also, there's space on the tower for carrier antennas for future. Like I said, Verizon will take the top elevation at 145. The site is remotely monitored. So there's no permanent employee occupancy. So there's no need for water or other utilities. The only utilities you'll need is electric and fiber. We're proposing to pull electric from an existing utility pole that's already on site overhead to a few new utility poles and then underground from there. Of course, that's all subject to the utility company's approval and availability. The site gets visited about once every 4 to 6 weeks by a cell technician for routine maintenance. And they just arrive in usually an SUV type vehicle. I just want to point out between John F. Kennedy Boulevard and the compound, there's on average, about an 8-foot high berm with existing vegetation on the top of that berm, which acts as a visual barrier to the ground equipment within the compound and from JFK Boulevard. And I think that's about it. Unless I missed
Josh,
anything.
you had a chance to review the review letters?
Yes, I did.
They're all agreeable?
Yes, the planner did recommend additional new vegetation. But based on the location of the compound, based on that berm between the compound and JFK, that's a conversation to have if it's really needed.
Yeah, you're prepared to have that conversation.
Right.
If something that would add a little value to be
Sure.
added.
Yes.
Okay, and all of this is designed in accord with the municipal specs that went out, correct?
Yes,
That was like pretty much dictated by the township committee.
yes.
Any questions? Go ahead.
I think I might have missed this in your introduction, but please tell me, what is the need for this tower? in our township?
We're gonna have, the next witness is gonna be the radio frequency engineer, but essentially to add capacity for the Verizon system.
That's capacity, do we need capacity?
He's gonna
He's
explain.
gonna, okay, so stay
why.
tuned on that. Back to the reports, the professional reports, a couple of them had, I think you've addressed them, over an overview lightly, but I wanted to dig down a little bit on that. There was an issue about the timer on the lights and what the lighting would be.
Okay, sure. Verizon Wireless will install work light at their equipment platform, at their equipment pad. But it'll be on a 2-hour timer. So when if the cell technician does need to come out at night, they'll turn on the light with a timer. And if he forgets to turn it off, it will stay on indefinitely.
Oh, that's good. And then they mentioned something about soil boring capacity.
Sure, so if the applicant gets approval for the tower, they'll start going into the construction phase. One of the first things they'll do is go out and we'll do soil borings, see what soil types are there for the foundation design of the tower.
So you intend to meet all of the questions that they
Yes.
had on those professional documents?
Of course.
And then, I think you answered my question about the lighting, and then lastly, migratory birds, which is probably something no one's ever asked you about before, but it does come up, in some of the boards that I've been on in my life. So is there concern about migratory birds hitting this? You address the lighting, which is good, it'll go up in 2 hours, that's really good to worry about aircraft hitting.
There's no lighting proposed. Typically, anything above 200 feet would require FAA lighting. In this case, we're at 150 feet. I believe an FAA study was conducted, which indicated no hazards. I'll have to check.
Yeah,
I think it was
but the birds, it's great that you're not only having lights on a timer. And the last question, actually 2 last questions, is there an alarm going to go off if something happens to it? You need people to come check it out.
So everything's remotely monitored. There are several alarms on the equipment, on the generator that notifies the Verizon Wireless people that are monitoring it, wherever it's monitored from. I don't know what that is. It is monitored.
And will the neighbors, from the residential neighbors from any of the neighborhoods be able to see this tower either during the daytime or at the nighttime?
We'll have a planner come up with some photo simulation that'll go over the aesthetics.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Beth.
Question, you mentioned the security gate, which is right on site. Is there one close, like the access road on which the gravel driveway
Yes,
turns?
so there's a sliding gate at the access road, which when I saw it was open, I'm assuming it gets closed every night and locked.
This being a monopole, is there any guy wires for this?
No, it's just self-support.
Well, essentially it would be closed, right? I mean, most of the time the gate, or it's not open daily, right? It would be closed most of the time once it's being serviced.
The
Are you
gate,
talking about the gate to the actual?
yeah, to the actual, there's
Right,
a
right.
sliding gate at JFK that, for the DPW.
And the monopole itself at 150 feet, I don't know a lot about cell towers. How's that compared to cell towers we might see when we drive around the city?
150 feet is a common height.
Is that the state?
Usually between 120, 150, but 150.
And does Verizon have, I know this, the Congregational Church has cell towers in the steeple. Does Verizon have one up there?
I don't know that. Maybe the RF engineer knows that. I don't know.
This doesn't seem that far from there. So it's not next door, but it's, and that is at a much higher elevation.
Hold that question, because we'll have some information on the network. That's the next witness.
One more brief question, any ability to add solar power? I mean, I know it's not that sunny in New Jersey, but just sustainability, I know you guys don't need that sustainability.
Yeah, no, Verizon, no, I haven't seen Verizon ever install it. So. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Public, wait till the
But
end.
no, we'll do public now further. Anyone from the public has questions regarding testimony that's been given?
Next witness, radio frequency engineer and then repeat events.
You can do it, or I could do it.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Your qualifications, sir?
Sure, Andrew Peterson, Petersohn. I have undergraduate and graduate degrees in electrical engineering, both from Lehigh University. I have.
Water, baby.
I've been involved in the design of these types of facilities now for about 25 years, testified hundreds of times before municipal bodies. Testified in federal courts, state courts, and I hold a New Jersey engineer's license as well as a license in several other states.
All current, your licenses,
Yes.
your professional qualifications are set by the board.
I appreciate that. Andrew, this is for the Verizon network.
Correct.
And Verizon has a license from the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC,
They do.
and it's been allocated radio frequency spectrum from the FCC as well. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and you work with Verizon's engineers to produce these maps here, which are customary in the industry to show the need for a site.
That's correct.
Okay, could you explain to the board members what the coverage is and what the issues are and why Verizon sought to work with the municipality to find another site in this area?
Sure. So currently, Verizon is having coverage and capacity issues in central portions of the township here, particularly along the JFK Parkway, and then in the many residential neighborhoods along the White Oak Ridge Road, which is kind of this area here central to the exhibit. This exhibit is first and foremost a map of the area surrounding the proposed site.
Let's mark it as A1
Sure.
with today's date of 1/12 of 26. You want to give it a name? Verizon Wireless Existing Reliable Coverage Map.
Yes.
The attorney here is going to need to describe what that is.
So the location of the proposed facility is here. I'm circling the icon that's labeled Short Hills 2. That's the internal Verizon Wireless name for the facility. Then we have a whole host of other facilities. They're also indicated with these target-shaped icons on the map, and they're producing the green and yellow coverage thresholds that you see on the map. The yellow areas are areas where there is adequate signal to serve someone in a vehicle. The green where there is adequate signal to serve someone in their home and their place of business, in-building coverage. So we've got in-building and in-vehicle coverage. So there is, as I mentioned, a coverage issue, particularly in-building with some in-vehicle issues to the south that the facility is going to address. To enable service, we have to have coverage and we also have that capacity. So this is just one ingredient that is lacking. There's also a capacity issue, which was also mentioned earlier, but we're going to first talk about coverage. So to address this site or to address the coverage issue, the proposed site, and I'll mark this A2, is going to add significant areas of in-building coverage, concentrating mainly on those residential areas along the White Oak Ridge Road. So we can see that all these neighborhoods, the neighborhood here, south of the Parkway, all those homes now would be able to enjoy strong in-building service.
For the sake of the record, could you just describe what the distinction between the first map you showed, the second map you showed?
Sure, so they are the same view, the same map view. The only difference now is through propagation modeling. We're activating the proposed site with the antennas at the 145-foot center line. We're turning that site on as if it was built into the network, and we're able to do that through the propagation modeling software.
So green is good and yellow is not as.
Yeah, green is better, yellow is okay. Yellow is in car. So where you have yellow, folks are gonna have issues in a building like this or you know, in their home, in their basement, things like that. So the idea is to provide green everywhere. We can't do that all at once, but this is another step towards that. So you can see with the addition of the site, we're adding a lot of areas of green here, providing for that strong in-building service, particularly to the neighborhoods there, all those homes. So that's the coverage aspect of the site. And as was mentioned, this is.
Can I just, when you did the bid with the township, did they go through all this with you? Did they have specs on what you had to be able to do?
I don't know the answer to that. I wasn't involved in the bid process. So I don't know.
I don't want to replicate what they did. But I'm trying to ask.
Okay.
Do you have a copy of this exhibit that you could leave with the board secretary?
I can leave these, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'll hold them
Then
up.
mark that A2.
Sure.
Thank you.
So really briefly, we'll look at the capacity aspects, and this is a bit more colorful chart where we,
Another new, this is not in the package, correct?
no, it's not,
Right there
I'll
in
mark it
the
A3.
grade.
Yep.
And please describe what you're looking at.
Sure.
Want to call it capacity map?
Sure, yeah, well, it's titled Verizon Wireless Existing Best Server Coverage. But what it's showing is where each of the sites, the existing sites, and more specifically, each set of their antennas is covering. So without going to every last detail of what's being shown here, we can see that the site called Short Hills, which is on a rooftop to the east, is producing this yellow coverage, this yellow coverage area. And the site called Milburn 3, which is that steeple that was mentioned earlier, where Verizon does have antennas in there. They're about 110 feet in the air. They're covering, those two sectors are covering into that neighborhood.
Is that to the east or to the west?
So the Milburn 3 is
The one
to
to the
the,
left.
that is
on
to the west.
hotel? That's to the west, right?
Yes, yeah.
Is that the hotel?
I think it's either a hotel or it's,
Is that
150
Matt Cali?
or
yeah,
150
it's Matt Cowan
JFK?
building. Yep,
150 JFK?
Yeah, exactly.
that's what it is. And then the Milburn 3, which is the steeple, is to the southeast. They are covering into the neighborhood now, and the antennas and the radio resources that feed those antennas are being overburdened with capacity demand. So the
What's all
other,
these colors represent again?
so the colors are just showing geographically where each set of antennas is covering. So
Okay.
they're not distinguishing service level or
Yeah, quality coverage.
quality,
Right.
yeah, it's just, this sector is covering here, this sector is covering there. So we can look at it and say, yes, these antennas are covering into that neighborhood or those neighborhoods, and then so are these. And we look at the network statistics and we see that those are the sectors that are overburdened.
Is there any microsites that are set up also?
There are some small cells, we call them. There's one here that is labeled Short Hills SC11. There is one here, Short Hills SC9. There were a couple others that were just approved.
And those
On the
typically go
eastern
on
side of the
telephone
exhibit?
poles, right?
Yeah, they're on telephone poles. They're of a lesser stature.
Right.
They're not really a great solution. They're not really a solution to cover an area this big where we need to add a whole lot of capacity to a neighborhood area like this. So if we activate the site from a capacity perspective, we can,
A4,
we'll say 4, yeah.
what do you want to call this?
This is Verizon Wireless proposed best server coverage.
So this is sort of with the site turned on.
Right, this is the site turned on. We're now adding the 4 areas of new coverage from the 4 sets of antennas that are pointing in 4 distinct directions. This red area, this greenish area, a blue area, and then a yellow area. So we can see that those sectors are now going to absorb that traffic that was currently being processed by those sites that were overburdened. It's going to alleviate that, so it's going to add new capacity to the area, going to add new coverage. So it will affect that service improvement that we're trying to achieve here.
And of course, you do the standard modeling that's regular in the industry.
Yeah.
You produce these maps and you've interfaced in-house Verizon folks to get this information, and these are sort of standard form plots and maps that you've presented to the board.
That's correct. Yeah.
Ms. Troy, I think we.
I don't know if it's a question for you, but I'm wondering, what is the lifetime of the structures such as this?
I would defer that, but I mean, from my experience, there's cell towers that have been around since the 80s that are still on the air. So quite likely.
There are structural checks that have to be undertaken. Of course, when every new carrier comes on, I think they anticipate that this will be the site. And so the other carriers, you're gonna have one structure, it's gonna be seen, it's 150 feet, it will be seen, but you won't have the other carriers, going right down the street.
You've got 3 empty pads here, it looks like on the map, that would be potentially used by other carriers and then use the same tower.
Yes, so this is my client tonight is the tower company, and they're in the business of creating the real estate, and then they try to get the other carriers on there, and then eventually they will come in accordance with their business needs. The idea, I think, from the municipality standpoint, is to find the best spot and put it in one spot, under the assumption people need the wireless coverage. And so get it into the one spot. The township committee selected the spot here.
Any other questions, for Mr. Peterson? Any questions from the public, testimony heard from our rep engineer? Mr. Swanton?
Okay, our final witness, Brian Seidel, on the variances, I think it's a V1 use variance, so we do need the 5 votes. There's some special, criteria that the New Jersey Supreme Court set forth back in 1997, so we're sort of like a hybrid. We're not inherently beneficial, but the court said that we have the license from the FCC, we serve the general purpose, the general purposes of zoning and general welfare. We do have to show the site's suitable, and then on the negative criteria, even though we're not inherently beneficial, we have that 4-step balancing test. Where it's like inherently beneficial, you look at the benefits, the negatives, and you balance them. So it's a little bit of a hybrid of the law, and we'll try to be succinct about that and wrap it up with Mr. Seidel. We could have him sworn.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Your credentials, sir.
Sure. For the record, name is Brian Seidel. First name is Brian. Last name is Seidel, Seidel. I'm a New Jersey professional planner, New Jersey landscape architect, also certified by the American Institute of Certified Planners. All of my certifications, licenses are current and in good standing. I have testified in front of numerous boards and commissions out throughout New Jersey on a variety of applications, including a considerable number in telecommunications specifically.
Great, qualifications are accepted, please proceed.
Thank you.
And Brian, you've analyzed this site in accordance with those standards that are set forth in that famous Smart versus Fairlawn case.
I have, yes.
Okay, can you give the board the benefit of your analysis of this matter?
Sure. I think the witnesses before me did a good job of explaining the site, the need for the site, and the proposed site design. So rather than going back on that, I'll just rely on their testimony. I'll adopt that as my own. In summary, the property is owned by the township. It's used for the leaf composting facility, what I refer to as generally public works type of location. Site is located in the C Conservation Recreation Zoning District, and the applicant is seeking preliminary and final site plan approval with use, height, and setback variances to construct a 150-foot tall monopole on subject property. It will be utilized by Verizon, and it will also accommodate an antenna for the township and the use of emergency services. Standards for approval that we discussed need to be shown both the positive and the negative criteria, and more specifically that the positives outweigh any negatives. So for the positive criteria, the site is particularly suited for the use. As I mentioned, it's located on a township-owned property. It's on a major arterial roadway, previously disturbed site, combined with an existing municipal use or public works use. No new access is required. Minimal site improvements are required, and really minimal visual impacts. Considerable amount of vegetation on the property and surrounding the property, and even on JFK Parkway and the curves of the roadways, the curve of the road with the vegetation really obscures the views into the site to the point where I believe the only real visibility from the tower will be from JFK Parkway. You just heard testimony from the radio frequency engineer indicating this is essentially central to the gap for Verizon, and that this will satisfy the coverage needs for Verizon in this area. There's also no other available tall structures that could be utilized in place of the proposed tower. The variance will also advance the purposes of zoning and the general welfare. The carrier is licensed by the FCC, which the New Jersey courts have found to serve the general welfare. In addition to that, the application will advance the purpose of zoning, particularly purposes A, by guiding the appropriate use of land to promote the public health, safety, and welfare. Purpose G, by providing space and appropriate locations for a variety of uses. And I, to provide a desirable visual environment with appropriate sighting, quality design to screen the view of the tower. Regarding the negative criteria, no detriment to the zoning plan or to the zoning ordinance. It's important to note, and Attorney referenced this in his opening, new tower anywhere in the township would require the same variances that are being requested here. Since the zoning ordinance is generally silent on those regulations, township's desire to locate the tower on township-owned property in this conservation district in a generally undeveloped area on the side of JFK Parkway is really the best way to control the location and minimize the potential for any adverse impacts on the community. In addition to the setback variance that's requested will allow the tower to be located closer to JFK Parkway. However, what this does is protects the sensitive environmental areas to the rear of the property, which I believe is consistent with the underlying zoning district. No detriment to the public good, passive use, no traffic impacts. It's a simple monopole design, no guide wires as was indicated. It will be available for co-location of additional wireless carriers. Will improve ordinary emergency services to the community within an already disturbed site. The only potential impact is the occasional visibility of the tower, and as I mentioned, the visibility is really limited to the areas on JFK Parkway, and even more than that, really just when you're almost on top of the tower, within that quarter mile near the opening and the entranceway to the facility itself. So in my opinion, the proposed application does provide the best opportunity to serve the community. Positives outweigh any negatives, and the relief that's being requested should be approved.
Ryan, we've talked about this, just one more minute on it. We sort of have a somewhat unique situation where the town has chosen not to have a wireless ordinance, so it hasn't given the wireless community any direction, but then it put out the bid. And that's what the governing body said. So how do you fit that into your analysis on, impacts on the zone plan, zone ordinance, that sort of thing?
And as I indicated, I do believe this is the township's way of controlling the location of that tower by providing it on this property and agreeing that this is the most appropriate location. Looking at the master plan does address small cells and the impacts of small cells in the right of way. It also addresses the 2012 Co-location Act that encourages co-location of antenna on existing structures, but really no other regulations regarding the siting of macro sites or towers such as the one that's proposed here.
So you have to do that 4-step balancing test for inherently beneficial, even though we're not exactly, positives, negatives, conditions of approval, and then on whole, you have a conclusion on that.
Yes, like I said, conclusion, benefits outweighing detriments here. No significant impact. I believe the applicant and the site design really, as it's designed, is controlling any negative impacts. Again, setback from the environmental areas and public works area, already disturbed site. I heard the engineer testify regarding the berming along JFK Parkway and the existing vegetation. So the location is appropriate to screen the views of the tower and any negative impacts.
Okay, we made the sort of the technical changes, or can make the technical changes required by the fire department and engineering in terms of stormwater. We did a stormwater report.
That's correct.
Chairman, that is a little bit of a thinner version, but we're here for any questions.
Any questions from the board? Go ahead.
So one of the variances you're requesting is the setback. Can you review with me again why you're not doing the required 100 feet setback?
Sure. The couple of reasons in my opinion. Locating adjacent to JFK Parkway or closer to JFK Parkway where it does require that setback. Really no negative impacts to locating it closer because, as I indicated and the engineer indicated, there's already a berm along that roadway. There's already vegetation along that roadway to screen that area. If the site were to be moved in further, off the JFK Parkway. That would impact the leaf composting area, the operations there. It would also move the tower closer to environmentally sensitive areas, wetlands and floodplain that are located in the rear of the property. And would certainly impact circulation by doing that. So I don't believe there's any negative impacts that are caused by granting it.
And I can, you may not have been privy, there was some sort of negotiation, the town selected the site at the end, but it had to fit in with the leaf composting facility. So you had to sort of place it, so that when the town puts the bid out, they dictate what they finish it.
So, Mr. Stolman, just to make sure I have the order of the, in my head, did the township decide that we needed more coverage? Did Verizon come to them and say, we've got some weaknesses we want to solve? And the township said, well, if you're gonna do that, this is the best place to do it, and we'll hold the bid? Is that kind of what the order was?
It is the latter, but that's how it happened.
Sure.
That process took about 5 years.
Yeah, I don't think there's
Something
somebody
like
in the
that.
township committee who's an expert on Verizon.
Yeah, you know, that's standard, and there's many of these municipal bid sites, we call them in the industry, where, you know, it's gonna be carrier initiated. From time to time, towns say, look, we got a great site, we're gonna put it out to bid, and they try to attract the carriers. I think it's fair to state that, you know, Verizon has been coming to the town for a number of years, trying to find more sites, because there's issues, and as people use their phones more and more. You need, so I call it the latter, but it's a collaborative effort. Towns can obviously get, you know, some nice revenue from this.
And if I can, the township kind of has a monopoly on this side of JFK Parkway. It's a long skinny parcel, parallels that roadway and covers a good amount of roadway frontage, so to speak.
Yeah, the golf course across the street.
Correct.
You mentioned that it's a conservation district and environmental sensitivity is an issue. Talk to me about putting a cell phone tower in the middle of a conservation district.
Regarding the conservation district, my opinion here, well, it's a conservation district. There are other public utilities that are permitted in the underlying zoning, so while this cell phone or cell tower isn't a public utility, it has characteristics of a public utility. And regarding the conservation area, well, it's a conservation zoning district. The entire site is not designated as an environmentally sensitive area. There are areas, as I indicated, to the rear of the property that are environmentally sensitive, but those are generally undeveloped. The site of this proposed tower is developed. It's a disturbed, I think would be a better word, a disturbed area that's being utilized for the leaf composting facility. So this is not an environmentally sensitive area. This is already a disturbed man-made area.
You know, studies are required, environmental studies or environmental, the previous application we did. Do you need an
Don't you have
environmental?
an EIS with this? I thought there was one
Yeah,
that was submitted.
There was one for another application.
NEPA always has to do NEPA, that's the National Environmental Protection Act, so the federal government regulates all towers. I don't recall that we submitted one here, not seeing it in my package of November 12th, which had September 18th.
I didn't see
Was
it.
one required?
Yeah, it was required for the water company. Just next door.
You have one, we're happy to submit it.
Oh.
We have one that's available that we can provide. This is.
Okay.
Okay.
That's when I saw that one was done, but.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. We can say that the federal government reviews some of the issues with the birds and they do all sites.
And you have an EIS, you said?
Yes, the document that was just handed to me from our project team and our project engineer is identified as a phase 1 environmental site assessment project.
And
Have you reviewed that?
I have not.
Well, it's gonna be reviewed by the township before any permits are given anyway, so. So it's not our
who
purview.
reviews it? Does the environmental commission review?
It'd be reviewed by engineering, I would assume.
Engineering, Eileen,
Yes.
reviews the EIS.
It's basically a concrete path.
Should it be submitted for the public to review or?
Public can still review it. It's, you know, before any permits are given, it's not really for the public to review. It has to meet the standards of the state, not public.
Okay.
Public has no purview over environmental tax. We had a comment, but. Any other
Would have
questions?
been great if we could have seen it.
Any other questions? In summation,
I think it's fairly self-explanatory that the salient feature here is this municipal thing, that the governing body has said that this site is appropriate after a long gestation period. And has said that 150 feet is appropriate. It's what we have in the absence of a wireless ordinance. You have evidence that the need is there, people are using their cell phones, I think the board appreciates that. They wanna have coverage, this is intended to provide that in building and in car coverage, and I think it's a reasonable site. Gonna be pretty hard to say, not gonna say that nobody's ever gonna see it at any location, but it's on that winding portion of JFK with some pretty good screening, so it's a balancing. At the end of the day, we think the balance is reasonable, and we place sufficient evidence to satisfy the very unique criteria that the Supreme Court has called out for wireless towers.
thank you. Any questions from the public regarding any testimony you heard this evening? Any comments from the public regarding this application? Then I will close the public portion of this hearing. Board members, what say you?
I'll go first. Oh, you have your mouth open first.
You're taking a breath.
I will go first. I was taking a breath, but thank you.
Oh, you were taking it right.
I will go first. I actually lived in the public section there. We had horrible coverage with Verizon for 25 years. So yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it's beneficial to this, the township to have that. It was rather maddening to do anything there. You make regular calls, not even like to use it for data. As far as the ability to see it up and down JFK, you probably will, but other than that, you won't see it at all because of the golf course that you pointed out. Giro Park rises in elevation, and the woods to the west of the golf course are a buffer for Canoe Brook Road, must be 300 feet deep. So I have no problem with this.
I don't either, I think it's, of all the places you could put it, this is one of the few least objectionable. I just would like if Diamond would get, some of the other carriers to, on there real soon, too. Something to say.
I do believe that is their desire.
I'm sure that's what they're trying to do, that's where all the
Switch to the
last.
Who's mobile guy? Any other comment?
Well, you know. So just a couple of things that I would, if the board agreed with me, I would like to be added as conditional for improvement, that approval rather, that the EIS review and approval, which I think would happen anyway, the FAA, there was some question about the FAA.
Do we have that?
Ah.
Okay, so we can submit, there's a sort of.
So the public portion is closed already, so,
Oh.
I mean, you can certainly consider these if you wanna have them as part of as the conditions of approval, but.
There was a question earlier that wasn't tied up, but it sounds like,
Once again, most of these things have to be met in order to get approved, so.
so.
So it's not so much a condition.
Well, the FAA is kind of a weird one, but.
No, it's not. There's an airport near it. It has to be met.
Okay.
You have Morristown Airport right there.
Okay, so just as long as the FAA approves this and all recommendations met by the professional reports that were outlined, there was extensive ones by the planner, which I think you would do, but just check on that to make sure that that's done.
So ironically, my parents' house is probably closest to this town. They live on the bottom of Arlene Court.
Oh.
So I know you couldn't see it from there. The trees there are incredibly high. It's actually miraculous how tall the trees are down there. So I'm not even worried about the visibility of it as I stood in their yard the other day looking at that leaf dump. There's no way you could even see this thing from there. So I think the
the added benefit to the township far outweighs any detriment. And the coverage along JFK is awful. It's awful for all carriers. But it's just coming from Livingston to the Short Hills Mall, it's hard to get a ball out. So I think this will be definitely a boon for the township. So with that, is there a motion?
Move to accept?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
David Bradford,
Yes.
Gary Rosen,
Yes.
Virginia Truitt.
Yes.
Beth Zoll,
Yes.
Joseph Caulfield.
Yes.
Jessica Black.
Yes.
Rick Ledger.
Yes.
Thank you for your
Good luck
time,
with
we
the project.
appreciate it. You didn't believe me, but we did it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So there was some about. So I'm
Next up, we're gonna calendar 4053. We're just let our attorney sit back up here and we'll get going. 25, 40, 53, 25, 28 Glen Avenue, LLC.
Oh, here I am.
Yeah.
Did you think they was on that? You said they.
Whatever you guys want. Oh, no, I
Actually, did notice that.
swear people in, like you always swear.
Yes,
I mean, it's
So like,
tomorrow because everybody's.
I'll continue to do it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Can I come from that? I don't know if we.
Well, 52 Wednesday. 52 Wednesday, the second door. According to the calendar.
No, you're third.
You're leaving early, so you can run home and get it.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
You have to, you're.
They'll call you when.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, right, yeah, we're leaving. Passport. Here we go.
We doing that?
Yeah, so security cards. In a way.
Oh, yeah, so it's one of those,
Yeah.
With this.
Would the applicant like to come forward?
4053 or?
Yeah, 28 Glen Ave. LLC.
Yes, I've got good memory. Very good memory.
Okay,
Yes, yeah.
let's swear you in and get those set.
Want to raise your right hand? You swear from testimony to give a nice proceeding, be the truth, whole truth, none but the truth? Your name for the ad.
Chao
For the record.
Mui,
The spell?
CHAOMUI.
Why don't you tell us what your relation to the property is and what you want to do?
I'm the property owner of 28 Glen Avenue. I was here 2 months ago. At that time, I did not have an architect, was not aware of that, so today I brought an architect, so hopefully I'm willing to, and we're authorized to answer all the questions. we'd like to, so when I purchased the property, it was a, underdeveloped property for the size of the lot and location. The intention was to, do an addition and remodel the property. And when I, originally did the, plans with my architect, at that time, we had no idea that, there was a 36-inch storm sewer drain that was running diagonally across the property.
So when were you enlightened of that?
Yeah, so the original application, and I'd explained this to, 2 months ago, so we submitted the application back last April. And had gone through the entire process for the permit. We were nearly through the entire process, had approval through zoning, building, fire, so, nearly just at the last stretch of getting the permit. Just happenstance that I was at the building department asking questions as we were preparing, for the project. And I was standing, with, Christine, the engineer, and I was like, asking her questions, about the street and the storm sewers. And she had pulled up a map on her computer. So, when I was looking, on the map on her computer, I saw this, this black line putting across diagonally on a property. So I asked the township engineer, what is that? And she said, oh, well, let me look. That looks like a storm sewer drain that's going across the property. This was unknown. It was not on the tax maps. It did not come up through the initial title search when I bought the property. It was not on the survey because nothing popped up. So when I saw that.
So it is interesting how nothing was built over that.
Yeah. So when I saw that, the next day I went to the property and I went to, the drainage kind of ditch where the pipe has supposedly, stormwater runoff. So I was just, astounded by the train tracks, got access, there and I found the pipe, outlet, to verify that it was actually there. And I peeked under the pipe, to see that, I had a flashlight, looked and, it was pretty straight and there's pretty much, lines up with the stormwater map, that Christine had pulled up on the computer. And that's, I believe I provided that, as part of the application. So you can see
So
that.
Formosa Engineering that produced this survey. That you didn't have a survey done on the property when you purchased it, no one discovered that?
No,
But there were two questions there. You had a survey done when you purchased it, and the survey did not reveal it.
no.
Do you have the survey that was done to purchase the property?
Yeah, I mean, so the survey, that was provided, was done after the property was purchased.
So you bought the property without a survey, which you can.
Yeah.
But did you buy it with title insurance?
Yes,
Did they do a title search?
they did.
And did this get picked up?
It did not.
I see that you submitted a supplement to the application which
Yeah.
shows the recorded instrument.
Yeah, so after this was discovered, I went back to my lawyer that helped me with the closing of the property. I went back to the title company and say, hey, there's apparently a storm sewer line that's running through the property. And so the title company did a further search. And they did find a document from over 100 years ago that the storm line was built before anything was built in there.
Going back to your initial title search, they did not take an exception to that?
It did not pick up. They did not find it.
So we spoke about this last time. You now have a claim against your title insurance company.
Yeah, I've not gone through the process to file it. I will, but I have not started that process.
Okay.
And just to remind the board, we talked about this a little bit, that typically when someone buys a property, well, all they do is a 60-year search, and they don't do let's go to 120-year search, and if they do a 120-year search, probably.
So let's hear from your architect and what you want to do. We're gonna swear you in first and then we're gonna hear your credentials. Go ahead.
You swear from testimony about to give in the next proceeding, be the truth, whole truth, and for the truth?
I do.
State your name for the record, spelling it, please.
Eduardo Galarza, EDUARDO. Last name is GALARZ.
Mr. Galarza, can we have your credentials, please, for the benefit of the board?
I graduated in NJIT in 1986. Would be 40 years this year. I've been working continuously. About to retire, but a lot of work, so. I
Have you
don't
presented in
time
front
to
of boards before?
To many boards, yes, I think the first time over here.
Are you licensed in the state of New Jersey?
Yes,
Is your license in good standing?
yes.
Very well, please proceed.
Yeah, as the owner explained, the hardship that he had regarding this is what it crosses that pipe, the sewage pipe over there. And the house is actually located right over here. It's a small house, it's about 1,050 square feet. Right now, this house, the ranch type, has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms right now. So the only way he wanted to add something there, some additional space. So we propose to extend this way to the front inside because this is a little more difficult. So we added another floor, and because some constraints that we have with the front yard and side yard, so we measure the prevailing front yards and the neighbors from the right and left properties or building. And we find out that the prevailing side yard is about 31 feet, 33 feet approximately. So our proposal goes to have a front yard of 23.21 feet. So that's because it's, not compliant, a variance for that. That's what we are here for. And the other one is the height of the building. The height of the building is supposed to be, the height will be 32 feet. The post is just 33 feet, there's 1 foot higher. And there's a reason for that, because the driveway goes down into the building. So there is a little room for an 8-foot door, garage door. So the owner wants an 8-foot garage door, so it can maneuver to get into the building. And in order to have that, we need space of a 9 feet high garage. That gives us this. Let me see that. Over here, how the situation is. Yeah. Here goes this, the garage is over here. So we need, we need a 8-foot door, so we have a 9-foot garage. So that gives us a space 8-foot room on the first floor. And then we have a 9 foot 5 inches room on the second floor. Then we have an attic right here, and the attic goes to 178 feet. It's 1 feet above the immediate wall, 33.
Is that habitable space or an attic?
That's an attic. There's an attic, which is about 6 foot 11 in the heaven. I'm gonna explain that right here on the
So
slide.
why put windows like that in that?
No, there's no window there in the attic. Here's the attic.
The attic has rooms, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
plans,
but-
it's a family room, it's a bedroom.
Okay, let me just go through the space.
The balcony of an attic?
No, that's on the second floor.
That's a third floor.
Looks like the
No,
third
there's,
floor.
there's attic or floor.
It's an attic. Yeah, let me explain to you. Here's the entry to the garage. Right here. There's a lower going to the basement. The basement is just this, but the building is right this part over here. Very small building. So we expand this to the front. Now this goes down, about 5 steps. And then from here in the new addition, we enter the front of the building, we go stairs down the way to the basement. Basement, we have a bathroom, there's two closets over here, for storage and mechanical room. So from the first floor, we go up to the second floor, and the first floor we have dining, kitchen, and one bedroom here with bath. And we go from the stairs up to the second floor. We go up in the second floor, we have 3 bedrooms, the master bathroom. Master bath and closets over here. So there's 2 bathrooms over here, additional bathrooms. And then we have accessory stair going to the attic. The attic, we have a big space there. You can use as a storage, or that's the idea. The owner wants to have a bathroom there.
Or what?
A bathroom there,
An attic?
in the attic, yes.
Yeah, I love that.
So what is the bedroom that's identified on the attic floor? Is
Well,
it not a
he
bedroom?
said, well, we discussed that, but I said, may not be available as a bedroom. You can have a storage, probably
What's in that other closet, utility closet that's in your drawing?
over here.
Yeah, what's that?
That's it's air handler
For what?
right here, for the air conditioning.
For the attic?
Yeah.
So your air.
No, this is for the attic, yeah.
Yeah, so your air, so the
This
attic's
is,
air
this
conditioning?
is not, it's just one
Yeah,
mechanical
so
bedroom.
well, it's 2 units, so there's a zone for each floor.
This will be on the second floor, right?
Yeah.
The second up there, so this is a basic mechanic room for the second floor.
But the attic, just to be clear, it's not a fully functional space because the highest point is 6 feet 11 inches, and that's at the ridge. But practically it pitches down, so the average height of the attic is much lower now.
Yeah, it's very low, but less than 5 feet, so we don't.
How many bedrooms and bathrooms are being proposed?
Right now, we are proposing in the basement can be.
No, total.
6.
So 6 bedrooms.
6 bedrooms. And how many bathrooms?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, I think, 5 or 6.
5 bathrooms.
5 rooms, yeah.
That includes the attic bathroom?
No, including the attic, yes.
Right, so 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms
Yeah.
proposed, okay, thank you.
What's the balcony coming off the attic?
Balcony, no, it's not the attic,
So that's off of what, the second floor?
it's on the,
Yeah.
on the second floor.
It looks like it's, when you're looking at the exterior, the rear elevation, it looks like it's.
No, it's right.
No, it's actually.
That's
Yeah, I'm saying-
You're saying it's on the second.
Is this the second floor or the third?
The balcony off the attic.
It's up the attic, yeah.
Wait, so can you, off the second floor?
It's up here.
Yes, right, yeah, the attic of the attic.
It's up there.
Okay.
Talk to me about the variances. I want to hear some testimony regarding your criteria. I haven't heard anything about what you're going for here, C1, C2.
Well, but basically, it's because of the front yard. It's supposed to be.
No, that's not gonna work. You gotta give me something more than that. It can't be because you have a pipe that you need to come closer to the street like that.
Well,
I mean, talk to me about the positive and negative criteria of how it affects the zoning plan and the master plan, how that's beneficial.
well, we walk around the business next door, right and left of properties on this side, and the average of the buildings next door are 27 feet. So that's the two next door. And the other side as well is about 34 feet on the other side, but the ones on the right is just 27 feet. So saying that, besides we have a long sidewalk over here, so we're proposing, see, we can have 23 foot, 2.5 inches from here.
You're saying the prevailing is 27 feet?
No,
So it says 32.
it's 31 feet, I think.
31 is prevailing,
Prevailing.
average.
Average.
No, permitted is 30. The required is 31, the existing is 32. And you're requesting 23. That's what
23,
that's
yes.
what my zoning chart says.
That's right. The prevailing is 31 feet.
Prevailing, the existing is 32,
The existing is 32, yes,
right? And you're requesting 23.
that's right.
Yeah, the reason is that the only direction for the addition is in the front because of the hardship. There's no way to expand in the other direction due to the storm sewer pipe.
But that's how you're designing the house, I mean, is, you know. And explain to me the hardship or why you need to go over building height, and don't tell me because you want a bigger garage. You actually have to explain to me through proper zoning why you need variance relief for that.
Well, the other one,
How's that benefiting the zoning plan and master plan to go over height?
the other one additional attic with storage, and we decided to have this storage over there with,
I think we're past that.
As much as possible, I don't, storage area.
So the grading on the existing property is sloped downward.
Yeah, it's sloped
So,
down
you
this
know,
way.
the data points in the rear of the house, it's relatively low. The neighboring houses, have grading elevations, higher than my property. Because they at some point had raised their grading level, and so, their average height elevation is higher than mine.
Right, but there's some other 3 full stories above the ground.
Well, this would be 2.5, it's the attic, is not a, full.
2.5 is permitted.
What's confusing me about this is your documentation says it is living space. Your documentation says there's a bedroom there, there's gonna be a bathroom, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. So is that not accurate and you're just gonna use it for storage? Or are you gonna use it as habitable space?
Yeah, so I mean, technically, the height, the maximum height is 6'11". That's like literally just a tip, right? And so the average is gonna be substantially less than that, so it doesn't qualify to be a bedroom.
It doesn't qualify to what?
Habitable bed, right, it doesn't qualify.
When we say qualify, do you intend to use it
That's my question.
as a bedroom? It's labeled
Yeah.
as bedroom, it's labeled
No,
as
it's not gonna be
bedroom.
intended to be a bedroom, it's more just extra space, storage.
We have a discussion about this, I found that not to be permitted. so
But
let's see
we
if can-
recognize
Right.
it's technically not a.
And
So
you're
why
not,
put a
you're
full
not gonna
bath?
have a bathroom there. Or you are gonna have a bathroom.
It'd be nice, but
Why would you need a bathroom in the storage area?
so, it's just more accessible to have a bedroom on each level. So the attic, it can be used as like a kid's play area, it can be used as just, extra, office space or something like that, but it's not a habitable, bedroom.
Are you aware of any other houses in the neighborhood that are at or the height, your height that you're proposing or above that? Are you aware of any other house?
I mean, you probably have more data on that than I do. I would have to research, look at recent applications. I know that there are other houses that's being built, in the vicinity where, the building height is high.
From the house, there's 2 big floors with a big roof. And it's
Right, so, but that's not what this is, you wanna do, you want essentially 3 floors.
Well, we have the top part just because we wanted some additional space there. We discussed about it, but it's just this area over here. Because this is the ceiling of the bedroom below. The roof is over here, it's very flat, it's almost flat.
Yeah, Eileen, don't we have pitch roofs, like, is that an ordinance now about that? I
Not
thought
so
this
much.
was- This was,
Well, it's, what is the pitch of that on the third, what is it, like 3 on 12?
That's about.
1.5 on 12?
Yeah,
very
we
much,
follow
yeah.
3 and 12.
It is pitch per se.
right.
What about the balcony on the 3rd floor? Is that permitted?
Well, there's no, yeah, I mean, you don't say power on the second. I just have no ordinance.
There's no ordinance, so that's a question, but, there's no ordinance permit, like, against a balcony on an attic.
Any further testimony?
Yeah, so for the main part for the building, the increase in building height, as my architect had illustrated is, the garage. Because for the car to enter, if you get the car into the garage, it needs to be an 8-foot high garage door. And so the garage itself needs a 9-foot ceiling. Before above it, the room above it, on the first floor is only 8-foot high. With the second level above it and the attic, and so that's how we came up to the calculation of the required variance that we're seeking.
So the attic theoretically could have been designed in a way that you would not need a variance, right?
Well, it wouldn't really be an attic.
Height
There
variance.
wouldn't be room for an attic.
Right, so I think what we're getting at here is this self-imposed hardship.
Because you're building up.
Right. There's no hardship here, you're self-imposing hardship based on your design.
Or why I
This isn't
understand that.
topography, come on. This is self-imposed hardship based on the design you presented, much like your front yard setback.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's not self-imposed though, because there's a pipe that was put into the property over 100 years ago.
But the design you're coming up
Because
with,
there's no other way to do a addition in any other direction other than to the front. We can't go behind, we can't go to the
yes, that's
side, we can't go to the right, where the pipe is.
I guess you also have to determine whether or not the property accommodates 6-bedroom house.
It's not a lot of 6 bedrooms in R6.
Yeah, I mean, we're going by the allowances based on, the zoning ordinances.
You're not, you're coming here.
You're
saying,
asking for an
okay,
exception.
you have a lot area and you're using that to your advantage, and you have an oversized lot. But your buildable envelope is not allowing that usage of space.
Well, that's only because of hardship of that pipe. Otherwise, would be able to. The original design that we had submitted.
But see, that's like us saying,
It did not
you
require-
bought the property. Okay, it's your due diligence, but it's not for us to grant variance based on pipe. I mean, it's inherent to the property. And this is the problem you're getting, I haven't heard any convincing evidence that even remotely addresses a C1 or C2 variance.
Well,
Anything compelling?
yeah, I mean, again, it's a unforeseen, there's no,
But our adjudication has to be based upon criteria. Positive and negative criteria has to be met. Regardless of your attic or anything else you wanna call it. At the end of the day, there has to be some compelling, there has to be some meat on the bone, right?
Right.
I haven't heard any compelling argument here regarding the positive or negative criteria.
yeah,
For clarification, I'm sorry, but
No, go ahead.
just for clarification, we discussed that. But he insisted to work on that, I told him, it's gonna be a little bit. Have that
Well, I
added
mean,
that
it's
way,
like I
so
said.
I said, but probably you can use that, just label everything and store it. So probably a half bathroom may be all right.
It doesn't change the fact that you're still asking for a height variance.
I know,
So I don't care if you put up, what you wanna put up, it doesn't matter what you label it.
Yeah. I know.
If you're still asking for height variance, you still have 3 floors above the ground.
Even if you had a hardship, even if we said there was a hardship because of the pipe, and because of that, you wanted to build away from the pipe towards the front. That doesn't explain how we're gonna get a 6-bedroom, 3-story home in this neighborhood. Like, the height issue is my view, is your real problem. Because even if there was, and I agree with Craig, I don't think a hardship's been established, but if it was established, I don't know how you get to building something over the height.
yeah, so,
The
I
massing's
understand-
huge, the massing is,
It's gonna be
Yeah.
huge.
it's going to just
Especially because
overwhelm.
it's coming. up
So
close.
we alluded, the board alluded to this last time. First of all, I do think as a legal matter, if the applicant could demonstrate an extraordinary condition because of existing conditions on the property, such as a pipe, that it could potentially qualify as as a hardship, right? But that's only one portion of a C1 variance. Just even for the pipe, you still need to meet the negative criteria regarding any type of C1 variance. And with regard to the height issue, what we alluded to last time is that in these kind of applications, especially when you're seeking excessive height, that you would bring in professional testimony, including professional planning testimony, that would do an evaluation of the neighborhood in the R6 zone and demonstrate in support of your variance, arguably, that there are either other properties that exceed the height, requirement and what they are, or if they don't, you would provide a visual evaluation to demonstrate that there's no substantial detriment to the neighborhood by having a height of almost 2 feet above what is permitted by the ordinance. So it's all about presenting proofs in support of the variances that you seek, and then it's up to the board to determine whether those proofs are sufficient to meet the positive and negative criteria for the variances that are required. So that's, I think, where the board is right.
Yeah, so I understand that and appreciate that explanation. And agree that on the height variance, it's more of a nice to have because of the slope and topography than a hardship. So I agree on your point on that. On the front setback, however, given that there's really no other direction to expand the footprint with the front, the existing square footage of the property is 900. For a quarter acre lot, almost quarter acre lot, 900 square foot property is inadequate. Underbuilt, right? And what we're requesting is a front setback that is not too dissimilar from our neighbor's Torah, who are both at 27 feet. And so, the reason for the 23 feet, 0.21 inches is so that we can get closer to, the allowable square footage that we're allowed to build. So, I would request that, the stormwater pipe being diagonally built across the property be considered as a hardship. And that, on the first variance of front setback, would hope that would be considered as a rational reason why that's being requested. The original plans that we had submitted back in April did not ask for any variance. We had no intention of asking for any variance, but it was an unforeseen issue. It was an item that, took some work to dig and find. It wasn't obvious that there was a 36-inch pipe running diagonally across the property. It was built over 100 years ago before anything was. You can barely read the contract, on that parcel to have the easement, which was for $1 over 100 years ago.
Also within the limits of lot coverage and building clusters.
I'm sorry.
We can argue the front setback, and there's no evidence of what the neighborhood is on those setbacks. But I mean, just looking at your next door neighbor, they chose not, they have a second story, but they chose to have a low pitched attic, a very low pitched attic. You've chosen to create an attic that appears from your drawing like you're gonna use it as living space,
Yes.
regardless of the height.
Yeah, so I agree, and I can see that point, that that's more of a nice to have, based on what was just described to me, and, I would concede that point, on that, on variance too. And so in the absence of the ability to build an attic, it would be a higher pitch roof.
But we would have to see.
Yeah.
No, right. So look, at this point, we're not in the business of negotiation. We don't design so you have a choice. I can certainly close this and we can, voice our opinions and then you can decide whether or not we vote. Or if you want now to, take a look at this application, we can see when you can come back. Those are your choices at this point. So what would you like us to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think his preference is, I understand your point on the building height, and I can see that, right? It's more of a nice to
There's
have.
more to it than that, but if that's your only takeaway, I think it's probably best then we deliberate.
Before you do that, can I have a question, Mr. Kabato? I'm just sticking with your drawing there, that sheet that you have up there.
Yeah.
Glen Avenue is actually Cypress Avenue, right?
Yeah.
We came up with that last time. Right. You show a secondary front yard setback from
Yes.
Cypress.
Yeah,
Is that, how'd you arrive at
that's
that?
from here. This is the existing patio over here. Existing patio over
But
here.
patios
So we're-
always there.
Yeah, no, you're the same with your sheet, you actually have it labeled the secondary front yard setback. What actually is the setback from Cypress?
Yeah, this would be the setback over here.
What's permitted?
The setback, different setback is 38 feet. Right now it's 38 feet, proposed is 23, this setback.
No, that's.
Oh,
So, yeah,
I don't
that's-
know. I don't know that here.
We have 32 feet for a 12-foot high build, 12 foot. No, that's it.
Like, what is your setback? Because if you're showing your secondary front yard setback where it is on the plan.
Yeah.
That's beyond the sewer line you're showing with the stormwater.
Yeah, that's
line.
over here, yeah, but it's an existing
Does
over
that
there.
make that moot?
Is that again?
If your secondary front yard setback
Yeah,
is what you say it is on the plan,
yeah.
that's beyond the scope of this stormwater line.
But it's very much in the same place where there's an existing one right there. We just move it back a little bit. Further. The existing one is over here, it's a little larger.
So I realize that, but I mean, like, how did you arrive, like, you're calling it a 64, 9 and 3/8 inch setback from Cypress,
That's been,
going this way,
Yeah,
going down Cypress. Like, what is that?
over here is about 64 feet up to this point.
You know, what I'm trying to get at is, what is the permitted setback from Cypress?
And the side yard, it should be 38%, 35% of the lot width.
Okay,
The lot width over here is
that's combined there,
is
right?
73 feet. So 30%, 35% of the 73 feet is 28, about 28 feet. So this is, more than 20 feet.
The secondary, setback is 60 foot.
That's the exist.
Well, no.
No, that's the proposed.
That's proposed. But
That's the
it's
proposed.
located where the existing one.
So,
If that is your secondary, then you're taking the stormwater line out of play, so that doesn't create any hardship. Right?
well,
no, so,
Maybe explain it to me,
Yeah,
I don't,
okay.
I'm not getting it.
okay, so the stormwater, line, when that contract was drafted in 1915, 110 years ago, there was a 15 foot easement, which, from center,
Center line.
so 7.5 feet on either direction.
Right.
Right, and so the building cannot be built closer to that.
I understand that, but I'm not, let's take that apart. What are you allowed to build? How close to Cypress are you allowed to?
Well, 7.5 feet to the center of the 36-inch storm line.
If that that didn't exist, that stormwater line didn't exist,
Yeah.
how far back would you be able to build from Cypress?
To the right.
As you face the building.
How you face the building?
Yeah, so, it would be, we had this calculated on the prior plan. It was over 30 feet, but we were well within kind of the front setback.
So
we
Mike,
were never,
your original plan.
yeah,
You
like,
were building over the pipe, right?
yeah. We were never like, past the front yard setback for the secondary.
Is this pipe an active pipe?
Yes,
It's just stormwater, right?
yeah,
It
yeah,
is.
the secondary front yard setback was never an issue.
It's not a township.
What's that?
It's not a township. easement. Correct.
I believe it was turned, it was turned over to the city, but it's not on any tax maps or anything.
Oh. Who's the holder of the easement?
The township. It was passed on to the
If you,
township.
just,
The city. Is it Essex?
if you're conceding or you're gonna be reducing the height of the building, that means that you're reducing the mass of the building.
Yeah.
By doing that. And it also may impact the board's deliberation and determination on the front yard setback. Because you're gonna have less building, right?
Right.
Encroaching upon the front yard setback.
Right.
So what our illustrious attorney is saying is maybe you go back to the drawing board. And then represent this case with something that you can get in the end zone. Does that work?
Yeah, so, I mean, most likely the change would be to lower the building height to 32 feet. So variance 2 would be basically eliminated. And it would only be the request for variance 1 and 3. The building itself, the front setback, everything else would remain the same.
Great, let's see what that looks like. When can we hear this case again?
Can I make a suggestion? When you come back with that revised plan, you might wanna show the amount of the building that is encroaching into the required front yard setback. And you also might wanna present a tax map showing other lots, including those from which you did your front yard setback calculation.
Yeah.
To show the existing relative setbacks. Right, cause it would follow, if you're gonna make the argument to get a variance, that, hey, my setback is not gonna be substantially detrimental to the neighborhood. And here's why, look at the setbacks in the neighborhood, here's my tax map. I'm gonna draw a line, I've now reduced the massing and the amount of the encroachment into the front yard setback.
This is where a planner would help. Well, I don't wanna increase your costs. That's the role of the planner, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we have that on the survey and the neighboring houses in the distance. That the neighboring houses are, you know, I don't think we provided it here.
Right, but that's not, that's.
No, it's going back.
Yeah, but there's, yeah.
Yeah, but we
You
have
have
that.
this front yard setback calculation where you listed the lots. But that's not particularly well executed.
Yeah, I mean, we have the actual map on the survey, we just didn't include it in what we submitted.
Right.
So we can provide the actual maps, you can visually see it.
Once again, this all goes to proving getting your proofs of the positive and negative criteria. So this is what we've been talking about. So when can we hear the case?
March 2nd.
March 2nd, does that work for you guys?
A second, okay, great.
Good, so anyone here today, that is change this case, we're here again on March 2nd, no further notice is given. And you'll have to have, when do you need the drawings in by, what, 2 weeks prior?
It is by mid-February.
Mid-February, I figure you get the drawings into, the building department for them to be circulated.
Okay, all right, appreciate it.
Thanks for coming forward tonight.
Thank you.
Next up, you have calendar 40-42-25, 52 Wellington.
Thank you, everyone.
I swear you went first.
Sure. Raise your right hand. Do you swear from the test, leave your hand. Do you swear from testimony about to give tonight, the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Sure.
Yes. Your name for the record. Mingyun, Minguan, Nachman, Huant.
Any view on the property?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, good evening, thanks everyone. As I said, my name is Mingyun, I'm Jake, so I together with my wife here. We have been living a proud resident for the Melbourne Township for over 15 years. I moved here in 2010, with at least 13 years in my current property. We do appreciate the township work, with our beautiful community there, and it's a wonderful place to live. Our home is quite outdated, need some major upgrade. We need additional space to accommodate our evolving needs. The reason is I work from home several days a week. I used to work on that 5 days to the office, but now I have managed to be able to get a couple of days off. My son is graduating from the college and he's returning home. Now he's gonna go to a master program in Stevens. My wife is a social media worker. She has a lot of followers, quite a lot. So, she needs some room for her work. And we're to where our parents come here, visit us even for an extended period of time. So we have engaged with our architect and James Ramco here, and he's gonna walk you through the detail of our design and the variance we are seeking to approve. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for your consideration.
Great. Hello, how are you? Which store you in?
Yes.
Rich Wright, do you swear from testimony about to give tonight proceeding to the truth, whole truth, and but the truth?
I do.
Your name for the record.
My name is James Ramatol, Ramendol, owner of GRA Architects in Berkeley Heights region. My licensed architect in standing in front of many boards, not many in front of this board, but in many counties and all over the area.
And you said your license is good standing?
Pardon me. Good over little surgeons, you have to apologize. Also, my garb is a little bit not as professional as I'd like to be.
No worries there. Please proceed.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah. If you want to sit.
Yeah, it's more comfortable to sit. I mean,
right now, I may do that, but thank you for the thought.
yeah, whatever works.
Right now, what's the word? Because I have a point anyway, so. As Mr. Wang mentioned, he has they own a Tudor Revival home on Wellington. Many homes of similar design. There's also the collective group of homes, mostly traditional. Neighborhood in general, some of the parts of the neighborhood have in fact expanded predominantly on the Canterbury lane in particular. And home as it is now, I'm gonna go over the site plan first, very briefly. I think you all should have plans in front of you, so I'll just come on over. So what you have here on the site plan, which is drawing T1, the heavy line that you see is the original home. There was a variance that was granted, I think close to 10 years ago, February of 2016, which was the creation of a one-car detached garage and a patio, some patio work. I do have the resolution, if anyone's interested in I can present that to anyone if they're interested in viewing. What you see here is the existing second floor. The unshaded area is what really amounts to the habitable space. Because the Tudor style home has, we'll call it a two-story house, but as you know, with the sloping roofs, there's very little space in those angular spaces around the perimeter that's typical of most traditional homes, and specifically the Tudor style. So what the client would like to do is currently the project currently has, I believe it's, let me just check my notes. It's currently 6 bedrooms. However, what we're proposing to do, there's two on the first floor, and then there's, four on the, second floor. However, as a result of, there's three of us. Three of us, I'm sorry, three of us, yes.
Two on the first floor.
Two on the first floor. Both of those, first floor spaces are gonna become office space. One for, Mr. Long, and also, the other space, we're gonna expand the kitchen. Because the kitchen's a traditionally old kitchen. I would call it a galley kitchen, but it's undersized. So the whole objective here is to improve the home internally for the homeowner. And also to, make it a little bit more, updated for the finishes. The area itself, the total neighborhood itself is, has got a variety of different designs. And I have some photographs which we'll present in a little bit. Generally speaking, what we're going to do is we're going to raise the footprint of the house and take out those shaded areas to make it more of a two-story home, with 8-foot ceilings, etc. Because the large majority of the second floor is, while it's habitable, it's not really usable for furnishings, etc. So the goal is to make 3 reasonable sized bedrooms on the second floor, all of whom will have their own bathrooms. And the bathroom that is located on the first one, we'll go back to the the next sheet on my plan is drawing. I brought Van Electric with them. Happens to be my wife. Okay. So the first floor plan, which is drawing A2, you'll see an expanded kitchen, which is taking over one of the bedrooms that's on the ground floor. We're going to maintain this existing bedroom on the first floor, which will also serve as Mr. Long's office. We're going to open up some of the walls because, again, these smaller homes all have compartmentalized spaces, as probably many of you know. And the objective is to open them up to structural beams to make it a little more of an open plan. This area here, which is existing, is actually an enclosed porch. It's not a huge porch, but it is enclosed and it's part of the footprint. So that's how it's designed. We're going to make it a little bit more, we're calling it a dinette. It may become a dinette, it may become another family room. But the objective is to make it more traditional in its shape and its design. And we'll get to that when I get to the elevations of the plan. The kitchen will be a more expansive kitchen, more suitable and usable for them. And while there is a bathroom here, we're going to eliminate the door from the bathroom, make that more of a powder room for the purposes of family and friends. So what I have on the second floor is drawing A3. Drawing A3 shows what will be the ultimate floor plan for the second floor. And all of these spaces will currently have 8-foot high ceilings, which will be much more usable for the client. The other thing that I don't know if Mr. Long mentioned, but both of his family members, parents, come home for extended periods of time over the course of the summers, etc. So there's a need for creating bedroom space that's suitable. That's why each of the rooms actually have bathrooms in them for that purpose. The upper right-hand corner, which I'm calling existing second floor plan, shows a little bit of it's an 8th scale drawing, so forgive the size, but it does show the size of the existing conditions. And you can see those areas around the perimeter that are really not usable for the purposes of anything below 7 feet. We were going to be in front of this board in November 3rd, but it was clear that we have an FAR issue, which we'll talk about in a minute, we decided to say, let's eliminate any type of finished space, make this just an unfinished attic space. So that, but we did want to put a full stair up there, so it's easy to access up and down instead of a pull down stair. Because it's the difficulty of trying to get a pull down stair in this area was a little bit more consuming. These little projected dormers, those are, that's primarily the architecture, and when we get to the next sheet, you'll see how the architecture is coming together. Go to the next sheet. This is really just for summary purposes. To get into the details, and if there any questions, make them up. Okay. Now, as a Tudor revival style, what we're attempting to do was maintain some of the existing characteristics of the Tudor style with the stucco and stone primarily on the first floor, and then bring a little more updated materials for the full second floor and the attic space as well. Front elevation, we also, there is currently no portico for entry when someone drops their Amazon package, they get wet. So there was the other thing was an interesting, I think architecturally, it was intended to kind of carry the same architectural style with the new design. For the most part, on the, we'll call it the right side elevation, for the most part, this right side elevation is existing to remain. What we have done is with the new covered, with the existing covered porch, we brought some of the similar materials that we did for the second floor. That's subject to commentary, of course, and we're certainly open to suggestions or ideas from the board. The other most important thing, and I guess I did miss the thought, right now this is the existing garage that's there now, it's detached. I want to go back to that because that's important. Go back to the one thing I neglected to mention is that the existing garage, which did receive a variance some years ago, has no connection to the house. So the idea was, since we're trying to improve the house to make it a more functional design, we filled this in with a mudroom and pantry with access directly from the house to the garage without having to go out to go and utilize the garage. Just wanted to make that point.
The garage is still attached.
Right, currently it's still attached. The proposal is to attach. Well, we're calling it the mudroom, but it's basically a secondary entrance into the house. Because right now, you enter the house from what's called the enclosed porch, a set of steps that you enter the home. So you're undercover from that point. But we're proposing to add that space because a few of the things that are missing in the floor plan are things like pantry space, storage, etc. And since the garage is, I believe, 2 or 3 steps below the first floor, we wanted to bring those steps in so we had the ability to make it one continuous home, which also adds to the FAR.
Just stop right there, just 1 second. So Eileen, currently, the detached garage, does that count towards that there?
Yes.
So it doesn't make a difference in terms of whether it's attached.
That's correct. Okay. Thank you for that. Then the last 2 elevations, you have the rear elevation, which is just, you see the outline of the garage. And then beyond that, of course, is the balance of the house, the backside. And then the left side of the house, which is this is I think if I didn't mention it, this is a corner lot. Anyone already noticed that? The left side of the home would be as we look at the front elevation, this would be along what's considered the 1 side yard setback that we have. So this is what the next door neighbor sees from his property. Couple of these windows are existing, and these up here are all new. So that's basically the summary of the architecture. I can pause here, or I can just jump into some of the photographs that I want to share with you. I have two exhibits, and what I've done, I have full-size exhibits, but I also have for the board smaller copies, so that you can see it a little more clearly at your desk there, and
So what does this include that you're passing out here?
these are photographs of the existing property. There are two images. There's a P1, these are site photos. There's a P1 and a P2. I'm gonna call this exhibit's gonna be called A1.
P1 is fine.
P1 is okay?
Does P stand for property owner?
No, P's, well, it could be anything you want it to be.
Got it.
Typically, it's photo.
We usually go with A traffic.
But we're,
Mixing up.
we're going, I'd be happy to, we can either utilize these two images as the exhibits.
Yeah, well, we'll
We'll go
mark
through
this, the first page will mark as P1, the second page will mark as P2.
Fine, perfect. And I will do that. Okay, so what I like to do whenever I'm doing a renovation to a home, I like to show the existing or the proposed along with images of the existing house. You get a sense of what is going to be versus what exists. And then what I also try to do with the other images when I tour the neighborhood, I look at homes in, there's Wellington, there's Canterbury. Those are the two streets that I think are more specific to this neighborhood, if you will. You'll see a variety of different styles.
Okay, so wait, so first of all, P1, there's a series of photographs. Did you take those
I
photographs?
took all the images, yes, I did.
Okay, and when did you take them approximately?
These were probably taken in 2024, as you can see from the vegetation. And you'll see in P2, you'll see most of the P2 drawings photographs were taken yesterday and also prior to that, but I'll do clockwise. I'll just walk you through.
Okay, and the photos that you're showing on P1 that you took in 2024, do they accurately depict how the current house and the surrounding houses look today?
Yes, they do. They still do.
Okay, and in the center square there, you have elevation, right elevation, front elevations, that's from you?
That's the same architectural
Same
drawing you saw.
architectural, same
those
elevations
images.
that you presented to the board.
That is correct.
Go on.
Okay, so the upper three photographs represent the existing conditions taken from various angles, since it is a corner lot. You have the front view, you have what amounts to we'll call it the corner view, and as we wrap around not Wellington, but Claremont. You can see the one car garage, and there's a patio here. This patio and garage was part of the variance that occurred back close to 10 years ago. Then the other images, the images on the right and left of the architectural design are images that are on Canterbury. I have their addresses on the next sheet, so we can hit them, but it kind of gives a general depiction of the architecture that's been designed and or redesigned over the course of several years. And the reason I took additional images today is because I realized I didn't have locations of these. So on the second page, we're going to move to P2, if you will. And this will demonstrate where all of these images are. There's also additional images I took today. Starting from P2, starting from the upper left. This is 58 Wellington, which is just a couple of doors down from my client. We have 20 Claremont Drive. That is again around the corner from my client. And the reason I took two images of this particular house is that the height of the house and the size of the house. I can't say for sure whether any of these had FAR variances. However, it's conceivable that the utilization of the space was what you could see in the rear part of a Claremont Drive right side. You can see how there's a dormer up there, and I'm sure that's probably habitable space back there. Whether it required FAR variance or not is another matter. I didn't pursue that particular design. And then 11 Canterbury Lane, 15 Canterbury Lane, 19 Canterbury Lane, 23 Canterbury Lane, 61 Wellington Avenue, which is again down the street. In this particular case, these two I used for the same purposes I did a front and a side here. I wanted to show the size of this property and the massing of it as it relates to the massing of that you can see on the right side. Now, while there's two windows in what we'll call the attic space, whether or not that's usable space or not, it's at least got some daylight for storage.
So, I mean, while I appreciate the tour around the neighborhood, we haven't really established any of these properties are over building coverage or any of these properties are over FAR.
No, I'm gonna suggest my testimony point of view. I did not do that research, therefore I
Okay,
can't.
so, all right, so. okay,
But
I just wanna make
it's
sure.
really just, it's really more of a, it's really a walk through the neighborhood to show that the architecture that we're proposing is not necessarily, at least in our opinion, is not necessarily different other properties in the area that have either been approved or it's just. Okay.
Okay, so
So
our
we're getting-
board is not a purview over architecture, but.
No.
I will,
I'll get to the testimony on the two variances. Okay, so those are really the quick shot of the photographs explaining what those are. Getting back to my testimony. I will say too, as a footnote to what would have been our prior design, it was clear from the original design that the FAR that was originally proposed, that would have been presented on November the 3rd, was considerably over what's proposed. So we scrapped that idea, and what you're seeing in front of you in those design drawings are what is now called the revised, reduced version of it. So first of all, we're in an R6 zone, and we have two variances that we're covering. The building coverage is currently 17. So the square footage is 1705, which is 25.17, where 23% is permitted. Max.
Would you say was that building coverage?
I believe so, yes.
You're saying you're currently at what? So,
By the way, let me also say, this particular, these dimensions are from the prior variance. So these calculations were from the prior variance that was granted some 10 years ago. So the delta between what is currently existing at 17.05 versus what we're proposing, which is at 18.94, brings us to 27.95, where 23 is permitted.
So you're looking for what in building coverage, 27.95?
27.95, that's how.
Why do I have 27.72?
Well, I apologize. That might have been just a misprint on my notes.
So you're looking for what, 27 point what?
27.72.
Yeah.
That should be on the application if I'm not mistaken.
It's not, but
The original means the one we are submitting on the.
I'm talking about the one that's in front of us today.
The ones in front of you today should be, I'm gonna go back to my drawing and double check that.
Should be 27.72 and
27.72, I
we
believe.
revised the table.
From the variance table, which is on
Talk about T1.
T1.
Okay,
Back.
so
Let's just let them move it. So, Mr.
Yeah, 27.72.
Wait, a whole bunch of numbers. Let's just be clear. Let's talk about the FAR first.
Okay,
You have 36% permitted.
yes,
You have 30.97% existing, is that correct?
No, utility is 20.
stand up, please.
30.97, yes, I can answer that question, 30.97,
30.97 existing,
yes.
and I have proposed 39.99%, is that
That is
correct?
correct,
Okay, all clear on that?
yes.
So on maximum building coverage, 23% permitted,
Yes,
25.17% existing.
yes, that's with the variance that was granted, years ago.
Well, I don't know.
But it's still existing.
What it is.
Existing is existing.
Okay, and 27.72% proposed, is that accurate?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, that was a miscalculation on my notes.
Okay. So the zoning table we got on here is not.
This zoning table here should be accurate. Is accurate.
One of them.
I doubt.
It should be the same one, hopefully it's on the website.
All right, as long as we're straight here, that's all that matters.
Because there's a revision that the original document was submitted and was revised on 11/20/2025. And that's what you're looking at then. That's the most recent document you see here, all drawings. Generally speaking, when I do my calculations, what's called general requirements, we go down and we look at the habitable area square footage. And you can see on item number 4, is the architectural habitable area. The first floor is 1,421 square feet existing. Second floor is 677 square foot existing. We are proposing 132 square feet on the first floor, which predominantly is that mudroom connection. And then the second floor addition, is 479 square feet, where you have a total of 611 total square footage, which brings the floor area ratio to 2709. And that should be reflected properly. Yes. So under floor area ratio, under the zoning requirements, when you go to look at the floor area ratio, you'll see 2709 or 39.99, which is 3.99 percent above what's permitted. So I think, let me see, I think I'm more in summary. Well, first of all, with the D variance requirement of the FAR, the intention is, of course, proving the hardship. The hardship, for the most part, is reducing the purpose. The reason why it was increased is because we were using 8-foot ceilings in all of those spaces. So we have, if there's a desire to maybe look at that from a different perspective, if we wanted to reduce some of the square footage or some of the floor area, that would be the floor area and the usable square feet. Anything's below 7 feet. Ideally, the homeowner would like to have a fully functional 8-foot high ceiling in altered spaces on the second floor. But I'll leave it up to the board in the comments that might come back from any of the board members.
Right, here's one of the issues we're dealing with here, is it's not unlike the last case. You need to hear testimony that in regarding the positive and negative criteria of both of these requests. I mean,
100%.
Lowering floor height is not, really speaking to floor area issue.
Well, it's speaking to what would amount to FAR, because we could reduce
No,
the.
why are you requesting this FAR in terms of its positive and negative criteria as it relates to the neighborhood?
The positive, understood. The positive criteria that, as it relates to that space, is that it's better utilizing from the owner's perspective. This is not just a neighborhood, it's from the homeowner's perspective. It is primarily to better utilize that spaces for the homeowner. Now,
So our decisions run.
Okay. The positive criteria, it's not about the homeowner.
it's about the
Why?
intent and purpose of the zoning.
Well, right, like, explain why the proposed home can be accommodated on this particular lot, notwithstanding the deviation of the FAR requirement.
I want you to make one more point of this. Your lot is oversized.
It's slightly oversized, yes, it is.
And you're now asking for a second bite of the apple on your coverage, on floor area ratio, as well as building coverage. So try to weave that in as to why we even need more building, like you're overbuilding coverage already. Now you're exacerbating that condition.
I will respond to that.
Okay, as well as your floor area ratio going from, now 4% deviation, which is rather sizable.
Currently, the corner lot does create a bit of a hardship from the standpoint of usability, even though it's a little higher than 6,000 square feet. It's 6,900.
It's 67,
67, so
you still get benefit of that though with the numbers.
you do. It does add to the calculation. It does give us a little more increase. But the intent from a hardship perspective is that without doing some of the design criteria that we requested, it's difficult for the homeowner to gain what their proposal is.
Once again,
Unlike
the homeowner's use is inconsequential.
irrelevant. Yes.
I mean, it was great that you took us on that tour of the house. But I don't, without sounding insensitive, his use is of none of our concern.
Understood.
We're looking at it strictly from a municipal land use perspective, meaning that our decision runs with the land.
Yes.
So when he moves out 5 years from now, let's say, we have to still look at this property and say, is this kept in character with the neighborhood? Is this, 4% deviation in floor area ratio? Can the property handle the massing?
Correct.
Can the property handle the coverage? I'm not sure you've crossed that threshold.
Well, we're not there yet, but there may be a need perhaps, there may be a need for us to examine other properties that I had in those other images to see if any of those other properties have similar FAR.
Well, that's up to you if you wanna go back and do that calculation, but that would require a revisit.
Yes, I understand. That's why I'm making suggestions.
But that's a portion, I mean, selling zoning relief as justification for more zoning relief isn't a great compelling argument.
Understood.
So you really wanna speak to the specifics of your piece of property, not so much what deviations the neighbors have.
Yes. Well, to do nothing we have a little room, we have a little maneuverability to go from the 36%, from the 36%, because we're now at 30.97. So there is some.
You have a lot of headroom.
There is some room there.
I mean, you have 6% ahead, that's pretty sizable.
There is some room. Part of the functionality, and going back to your point about the homeowner is utilizing first floor space for other purposes other than habitable space, that's irrelevant to the board, and I understand that. So there may be a need to, pardon the expression, to perhaps go back to the drawing, look at how much else we can reduce this to get it to a more reasonable percentage. 4% of over the requirement is significant. I will speak just for the record. We were at 45%. We know that wasn't going anywhere, so we eliminated that.
Well, look, I think your best case scenario now is to look at your plan, and you have two choices: to revise it, or to come up with a compelling argument as to why you need these overages and how it's gonna be sold, okay? Considering that you have an oversized lot, so there really is no hardship.
No hardship with a lot.
Regarding the length. In fact, it's beneficial.
Right.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
When can we hear this case again?
I would say March 16th.
March 16th? Does that work? Does that work?
If you should be able to do that, yes.
Okay.
So we'll table this application as it sits now and see how we can reduce that something. I guess the one thing I would ask, the board does grant aid, and I'm not part of this board all the time, so I don't know what it's. Would there be an opportunity to say, what would be a reasonable?
No, here's what we would do for you though, okay? We will deliberate, okay, in the open.
Right.
being that you need 5 affirmative votes.
Right.
Okay, I'd even split up the 2 variances if you want. Okay? So, we would deliberate, you could see what everyone says. If you see that you don't have the votes, or if I don't see you don't have the votes, I'm gonna come back to you and say, do you want us to vote or not? And if you see that you
Would
don't
that be
have the
tonight?
votes, I'm sorry?
That's tonight.
No, tonight we're moving
Oh,
on
you're moving
because,
on, okay.
I mean, you haven't,
Just curious.
honestly, you haven't met just the threshold.
Right.
So we would deliberate, you could hear the comments. If you don't think you have an affirmative response where you're gonna actually get the relief requested, we would either allow you to go make a new date and go back and try again.
Right.
Or build something that is, you know, not need a variance.
Certainly not a D variance.
Certainly not a D variance. I mean, your building coverage, you already have a problem with, right? So you're not getting around that.
Understood.
So it's a matter of keep your FAR in line and do the best you can on
the
your
coverage.
Yeah, fall on your sword on the building coverage.
That's
So,
fair.
That's up to you. That's up to between you and your client.
Yeah, thank you, and I understand, and we're
I
going
don't
to.
have to go back. That wasn't.
Okay, so this application will be heard, March 16th. No further notice.
Thank you.
Please have your corrections submitted to town hall. And, we will review it at that time.
Thank you very much for your time and the information. I
Thanks.
appreciate that.
We're gonna take a 2-minute break and then we're gonna.
Yeah.
We'll take a 2-minute break and then we're gonna, clean up the last
2 minutes?
3 days. Okay. 116 Cypress. Sam Hawksworth, come on down.
I'm told, I'm just prepared that.
I was at the property this afternoon. And while I was there, the homeowner came out. And he was surprised, he didn't think they were on tonight.
Oh.
Okay.
So
You didn't need the homeowner.
better check that.
Was there anyone here on that application?
He said to me that they had failed to notice. the
They were
utility.
supposed to be here on December eighth.
Oh.
He did not notice the utilities. So I told him we need to notice the utilities for January 12th.
Right.
All right.
Moving
right along.
Hold on.
What are you gonna do? Another week and a half.
Well,
I don't know.
I think you can provide another date, we can carry it. We can notify him that we carried it to the state, provided that
You notified the
the
utilities.
utilities of this state.
Right.
So,
If he didn't do that, then he has to do it.
correct.
So
So,
What would that date be?
let's get him. If it's a shed.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
let's put him on the next meeting, which is February 6th.
Awesome.
okay, does that give him
Um.
enough time to?
Let me just see. They said that was me. I mean, he would have to get it. Yeah, he would have to get it to the end by Friday to get it in their Thursday paper, which we did. So it's got.
Let's just go on to tomorrow.
So we'll get.
All right, so anyone here on application 4059? It's gonna be carried to February 2nd, no further notice will be given. We're moving forward to calendar 4062, that's 3 Ridge Terrace.
Okay.
Come on down.
Is it okay to pull a chair up to here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah.
You're gonna sit there when you think the ball, you're gonna speak up with your glasses.
I've not yet been told I'm not loud enough.
Yeah, well, you at least harder on your back.
Yeah, anyway, hey, Eileen, on that, can we request a survey from that guy too? That application has like a hand drawn backyard.
Looks like you might have been through this problem.
No, no, it's like, yeah.
Well, so wait, it's awful, but before we go on, if there are other things that the person's gonna need to submit, is that person gonna have time to get it in, get the stuff, get it in 10 days prior? If he is, that's fine, we can always continue.
You said he's getting setbacks on property boundaries, but
I will,
there's no survey attached to the application that I saw.
Okay.
It's like there's like an excerpt lifted from site plan or survey.
You've got 4 pegs in the ground, with yellow.
Yeah, you'll take.
Well, that, yeah.
Okay.
okay, no problem. We'll do it.
So if that's the case, then I have a little.
Sorry, folks, we're gonna swear you in, whoever's gonna, if you're all gonna speak, then we'll swear you in one shot.
All right, everybody raise your hand, do you swear affirm testimony about to give it now proceeding in the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do. Start. Your name, spelling your name.
My name is Kun Bang, KUNFANG.
Douglas Miller from AHM Architects, located here at 281 Main Street, Millville.
Mallory Clark of Joker Robin, located at 30 Montgomery Street, 510, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Go ahead.
My name is Kun Bang, my wife and I and my son is living here for 5 years at 3 Ridge Terrace. This is our home, we really love this town and we love this community and our friendly neighbors. My son is also very happy here and we are planning to have another kid. But the problem is our home is too costly right now for us to live. So we only have the 3 bedrooms.
when we have the second child, especially when the child is like large enough, we need another room because we have, sometimes our parents also come here to live with us. So 3 bedrooms are not enough, so we are trying to, so that's why we are proposing some, small additions to, to give enough space for us to live and enough space for our kids to play with. So that's why we are designing this addition to be, we want the addition to be respectful and minimal impact to the town. So next I'll ask our architecture Dr. Ben.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Ben. Hey, good evening. As Quinn said, him and his wife came to me with the goal of
We have
improving.
qualifications real quick.
Oh, yeah, sure. Douglas Miller from AHM Architects. I've been licensed since 2001. My license is in good standing. I made numerous presentations to this board as well as the boards in the surrounding communities.
Thank you so much. Your qualifications are accepted, please proceed.
All right, thank you. Yes, so as I said, they came to me with the goal of improving the functionality of their house. I'm going to kind of describe the project, go over the variances, describe the plans, and then I'll turn it over to our planner to the variance proofs. So the property, as Quinn said, is located at 3 Ridge Terrace. Our lot is approximately 57.8 by 100 or 5,759 square feet and is located in the R6 zone. It's narrower and undersized in the zone where 60-foot width and 6,000 square feet is required. Our lot width, our lot area, our front yard setback, both side yard setbacks, side yard combined, building coverage and garage size are all existing non-conforming. So really the only 2 items that are conforming according to the zoning ordinance are lot coverage and building height. The house is an attractive 1.5-story colonial built in approximately 1931. We are requesting C variances for building coverage where 23% or 1,325 square feet is allowed. We have an existing nonconformity of 23.44% or 1,350 square feet. We are proposing 24.8%, which is 1,430 square feet. This is a deviation of only 1.8% or 105 square feet. We're asking for 3 side yard setbacks variances for the right side. These 3 variances are all kind of linked together because by asking for 1, we need all 3. In our notice, we had only asked for 1 of them, and there was a little confusion between us and Eileen. But in addition to the side yard setback up to 18 feet, we are also requesting side yard setback above 18 as well as side yard combined. So for the side yard setback up to 18, where 8 feet is required, we have an existing nonconformity of 6.2, and we plan to continue that. For side yard setback up to, above 18 feet, where 12 feet is required, we're continuing again the same 6.2 feet. In side yard combined, 35% is required, which is 20.23 feet. We have an existing non-conforming 25% for 14.5 feet, and we are continuing this non-conformity. We're also asking for garage size. The existing garage is non-conforming at 9.5 feet by 18, where 13 feet by 21 is required. We are proposing a garage of 9.3 by 23.5, continuing the existing non-conformity for width, but bringing the depth into conformance. We're also asking for fence and walls in the front yard where 2 feet is permitted. We're proposing just the right side retaining wall along the driveway to have a height that slopes from 1 feet up to about 6. Plus a D variance for floor area ratio, where 36% or 2,073 square feet is required. We have an existing nonconformity of 37.8 or 2,177. The proposed increases this by 40.9 or 2,356 for a deviation of 4.9. But because of the small lot area, this is only 283 square feet. These variances are due to the narrow, undersized lot, hardship of having an existing non-conforming placement of the home. And these hardships complicated our ability to expand the home without variance relief. Let me walk you through the plans.
Do you think this house was ever added on to at some point?
I think so, yeah, I think that's.
I mean, you're already in non-conformity and like your building coverage and NFA are already in non-conformity.
Correct.
Which leads me to believe that, this is like another
like I said, a second look at it, or third, or whatever it's been over the years.
I think someone did a small addition at the back that
Yeah.
kind of leaned to,
Right,
in the
maybe
rear.
you've been under.
Right, so I think there was a sunroom and there was a small addition on the right side that was added behind the garage. But I think there was minimal changes. If you go through the house, it doesn't seem like it's been improved or renovated, in quite a long time.
Were there any variances, that were applied for before to know?
That's my knowledge.
Can I ask a clarifying question? On the FAR, you just mentioned how it's like 343-foot deviation. You said, but because it's a small lot, only 280 feet. I just didn't follow that.
Oh, sure. It's 4.9%,
Okay,
but 4.9% deviation equates to 283 square feet.
I see. If you were to apply it to
Right.
the, okay.
So sometimes when you hear like, I'm asking for a 4% variance, it's like thousands of feet or 1,000 square feet or so. Here it's a small number.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I could walk through the plan to give you a better understanding of what's existing and what we're proposing. So these are the same drawings you have before you. So the changes to the site, this area here on the second floor is where we're adding a fourth bedroom on the second floor. This area here is an infill. The existing house has this kind of toothed notch between the back of the garage and the family room to the rear. So we're proposing to just square this off. And because it's filling in this notch, I don't really think it contributes to the visual bulk of the home. We're also proposing to move the garage from the first floor down to the basement. And that requires this retaining wall variance that I described along the right side. We also have these 3 stepped retaining walls up to the front door. Those retaining walls are conforming. We're also proposing to reconstruct this side of the house, but we couldn't make it any narrower and improve the side yard setback because of the garage width. Next page is the basement floor plan. This is the area that we're reconstructing. It's going to be the same size as existing. We're just joining it to the existing crawl space, creating a little bit larger garage than was there previously. But there's no change to this level. First floor. The existing first floor consists of a kitchen, dining room, living room, family room, powder room, and a garage. We're proposing here is to reconfigure it. We have all the same spaces that we had before, except we're taking the living room and we're eliminating that, instead creating a guest suite for his parents that come to visit for extended period of time. The existing first floor plan is what you would typically find in the early 20th century. A number of small compartmentalized rooms. They don't really work for a modern family, and by having such small rooms, it makes the house feel smaller. So by opening up the rear of the house, eliminating some walls, we're creating a much more open concept. So it makes each space feel bigger, creates a more modern flow, creates spaces that people want in a modern house these days. The change to the footprint to fill this in is only about 93 square feet. So a de minimis change creates a dramatic improvement to the usability and functionality of the home. Next is the second floor. There's fewer changes to the second floor area. It consists of 3 bedrooms, a hall bathroom, and a super tiny primary bath. There's a study which occupies the attic space over the garage. It's a very, very awkward space. You have to kind of shimmy down underneath a low doorway, down a couple steps to access the study. And it's also accessible only through the primary bathroom, so which makes it a very, very awkward space. It was an attic area that they felt that they could, maximize, and they really used up every possible square foot in this house. So that's why we needed to do this renovation. So what we're proposing to do is minimize the bulk along the right side, pull this back and create a walk-in closet, make a more normal size primary bathroom, renovate and reconfigure the hall bathroom. We're relocating the wall between these 2 bedrooms to more equalize their size. And this is the addition that primarily drives the floor area ratio variance, this bedroom 4 here on the left rear, and the setbacks for that are all conforming. Next are the elevations. You can see it's an attractive, low slung, 1.5-story colonial home. Has these 3 kind of cute dormers if you drive by the house. Although they're cute and a low slung house, looks attractive, it minimizes the usable space within inside those bedrooms. So all those bedrooms, if you have a certain size, they're very hard to furnish because of the low wall heights. So by adding more square footage, we're going to make the house a lot more functional. And you can see this is the right side where we're asking for the side yard setback. There's a number of windows here on that side that look onto the neighbor to the right's rear yard. So what we're proposing to do here on a proposed elevation is to eliminate all that glazing along that side to really create a sense of privacy between the 2 homes. We're also reconfiguring this portion of the house. Before it looked like an afterthought. It didn't seem like it was connected to the overall architectural style of the home. And what we're proposing to do here is add a 4th dormer that mimics the style of the other portions of the home. I would like to note, although we are asking for a height to side variance, the overall height of the house is 6.5 feet lower than required for the zone. And where our addition is for this section here, where we're asking for the height to side variance is 11.5 feet lower than permitted in the zone. So we're trying to keep this low slung. We're trying to keep that cottagey colonial feel of the house. And we're doing sensitive changes to really dramatically change the functionality of the home. And I think this is one of those cases where the numbers kind of the aesthetic belie the numbers. When you look at this house and you drive by, you would think it's a lot smaller than what the FAR dictates. Not that it's a large scale house, but as our planner will say, it's not inconsistent with the neighborhood. We also used a variety of techniques to break down the scale of the house and further create a little bit of additional charm and curb appeal. We have a variety of materials on the front. We have clapboard siding mixed with some stucco and some nice trim. So this variety of textures further enhances the aesthetics while also breaking down the visual bulk of the house. This is the rear addition that we talked about. You can see it's really nested in to the home, really creates a nice addition to the rear. And then this area here is where that kind of infill was created. And I think it really creates takes a disjointed facade and creates something that's much more attractive. And I would like to note that the area of the deviation of this section, if I put my hand over that, this is the section here that requires the variance. So I'm just shielding the bedroom in the rear so that you can see, on this drawing, it looks very flat, 2-dimensional, but this is much, much further back and away from the property to the right. And if you measure the area of the section that's in deviation, from existing to proposed, they're virtually the same. So we're not really intensifying the deviation for that portion of the house.
How far is that cantilever? That room, that's the outer bedroom?
Yeah, it's 2.5 feet.
Cantilever's over the
Over
big
the
window
rear.
or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's conforming to the setback.
No, that's fine.
So overall, I think that, before I turn it over to the planner, I'd just like to feel that our property can really handle the deviation due to the unique makeup of our lot, the surrounding neighborhood, with the site and the zoning calculations. So with so many nonconformities, there's really nothing we could do here without variance relief. I think what we're doing here goes towards maintaining and improving the immediate character of the house, enhancing the charm of the house, and the undersized lot area, narrow width in combination with the placement present these hardships that require variance. So I'll open it up to you any questions before I turn over the plan. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions? Mr. Miller? Any audience have any questions, Mr. Miller? Then we'll move forward.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Mallory Clark of Dresner Robin. I'm just gonna pass out an exhibit I have.
Why don't you go through your qualifications real quick?
Sure. I'm a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey. I have a bachelor's degree in landscape architecture from Clemson University, as well as a master's degree in city and regional planning from Rutgers University. I've been a licensed planner in New Jersey since 2021. My license is current and in good standing. I've presented to a couple dozen boards throughout the state. Also previously served as a principal planner for the city of Jersey City for several years. And like as recently as last week, I was in South Orange, so I've done a lot of the neighboring communities.
Thank you, qualifications are accepted.
I believe this will be A1. Just pass this in. The A1 is a 7-slide presentation. Okay, so the first slide here you can see is just a summary of the relief requested. I know the architect just went through, so I don't want to belabor too much, but we have 1B variance for FAR where 0.36 is permitted and 0.41 is proposed. And then we have several C-bulk variances, including maximum building coverage where 23 is permitted and 24.8 is proposed. Minimum side yard, which is kind of a couple variances clustered into one. The requirement is 8 feet below 18 feet of building height and 8.75 feet for the portion of our massing above 18 feet of building height. I'll explain that when we get to the relevant slide. As well as 20.23 feet combined between the two. The existing is 6.2 on the eastern side, 8.3 on the western side, and 14.5 combined. Those numbers aren't changing, we're just intensifying those variances through the vertical addition, so it'll be additional bulk that is non-conforming, but we're not shrinking those horizontal dimensions at all. Maximum retaining wall height is another deviation that we need in the front yard. The maximum within the ordinance is 2 feet, and we are proposing about 6.5 feet on the right side of the driveway. On the left side, you'll see in the elevations that I'll go over, we have a terraced retaining wall approach, which conforms with the 2-foot maximum height. And finally, we have a variance for minimum garage dimensions where 13 by 21 is required, 9.5 by 18 exists. We are improving the nonconformity to 9.3 by 23.5. And we do still require relief, but just for your benefit, we're kind of taking that deficiency on the width and putting it at the length, if that makes sense. We are located in the R6 zoning district, the purpose of which is to provide a range of lot sizes for single family dwellings. The permitted principal uses are single family dwellings, existing use on site, single family dwelling, proposed use, single family dwelling. In terms of our relief, I want to start with the FAR variance. On slide 2, you'll see a couple of colors there for your benefit. Purple is the areas that we are adding, so that's where increase in FAR is occurring. And orange is anything that's being taken away, which is really just the existing chimney on that side of the property, which does encroach into the side yard, is being removed. I did do an FAR analysis of the block, which you can see on slide 3. I apologize for the small numbers on this, just running out of ink in my printer. Wanted to make sure I had hard copies for you all. So essentially what you'll see here is our property, the information for our property is in orange. The identified parcel on the tax map is our parcel in orange. And then this is the Ridge Ave corridor. Ridge Terrace corridor. So if we look at the overall block front on our side of the street, which is the northern side, there are several other existing non-conforming lots that are essentially identical to ours in character and siting. And those are the lots that are identified in purple. So if it's within the purple box, it's an existing undersized lot, similar to ours. And then similarly on the tax map, they're identified. And really what we found is that all the undersized lots on the block have existing non-conforming FARs, and they're pretty consistent with what we are proposing. So immediately adjacent to us is the corner property addressed at 1 Ridge Ave that actually has a rear to side yard relationship with our property, so it fronts onto Chatham Road. Or sorry, it fronts onto the other right of way with a side yard
It's
really
like Wall
facing the
Stroll?
ridge, yes. And so that's a little bit of relief needed in a unique condition, which I'll talk about with the side yard as well. So that has a 0.42 FAR, we see 0.41, 0.36, and 0.40. So very consistent FARs with what we're proposing through our addition. As we go further towards Woodland on our side of the block, we have extraordinarily oversized property, so I think it's not really comparing apples in that kind of analysis. But for the board's benefit, I did review the tax cards for all these properties, as well as all the properties on the other side of the street, which have larger lots than what the minimum is required. And we're really proposing a very consistent overall building size with what exists on the block. So the average built square feet per parcel on the opposite side of the street is 2,745 square feet. Average built square feet per parcel on our side of the block is 398 square feet.
Is that, I'm sorry, Ms. Clark, is that part of this A1 or is this just your verbal?
This is just my verbal.
So let's just go back for 2 seconds. Say that one more time in terms of what on the other side of the street on Ridge.
Yes, so on the, we'll call it southern side of Ridge, opposite side of the street, the average square feet per parcel is 2,744 square feet.
And how many parcels is that?
That would be,
Is that between Balstroll and Woodland, you're doing, or?
no, it's the other side of Ridge Terrace, so it's the side facing.
Right, but between both.
Balstroll and Woodland.
Correct,
But
yes,
the
so
south
1,
side
2,
of the
3,
street.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parcels.
So it's the entire block.
Yes, yeah. So essentially I analyzed the whole plot
Right,
from
right.
on Ridge Terrace.
Just wanted to know what we're doing.
Mhm. And then on our side of the street, the northern side of Ridge Terrace, the average built square feet per parcel is 2,398 square feet.
So again, the entire side of the street.
Correct.
Okay. Including those oversized blocks.
Correct.
And what's the size of the subject property is proposed?
The size of the size of the bulk.
The bulk, what do you
The
just?
bulk as proposed is 2,562 square feet. So we're very much in line with the average that you see on the block.
Which is roughly 24 lines.
Correct, especially on our side of the block. It's 24. The new floor area that we are proposing is within, primarily within permitted area in terms of the setback, other than that sliver of side yard, which actually the upper story, the new story, second floor of that is not actually counted in the floor area ratio because it's a pitched roof closet. So essentially it doesn't have the clearance to be considered habitable area. And then additionally, I would really just offer that while we do need a building coverage variance, which is somewhat subsumed within FAR variance in the talking points, it's really not related to this, it's really related to this FAR only in a very small portion, which I'll address in a minute, which is our architect described, we're kind of filling in the smile, if you will, we have a gap in between, and we're filling in that portion that doesn't really bring the building line at this flat facade at the rear. In terms of the building coverage variance, I'll go through that next because I believe it's closely tied to the FAR. If you look on slide 4, it's that small 80 square foot blue square at the rear. That's the only increase in building coverage. Again, that's kind of filling in the gap of the smile. And then we will maintain a compliant lot coverage, which I think is a very relevant consideration when you're looking at a building coverage variance, where we are proposing 37.8%, where 45 is permitted. So we still have substantial wiggle room there. And I don't think our building coverage variance is egregious by any means. It's really a logical addition. Okay. Additionally, if we look at slide 5, I just want to go over some of the talking points on this side yard variance. So there's a couple components to that variance. The first is that under 18 feet of building height, you're required to have an 8-foot setback. once you hit 18 feet, the ordinance says you have an additional 0.3 feet of setback horizontally for every 1 vertical foot of building height. If you look at the proposed diagram at the bottom of side elevation, it's really actually only a very small triangle at the north part of the peak that's actually subject to the additional setback, and it's 9 inches additional that's required. Obviously, we are proposing to just carry the facade up straight, so you maintain the existing non-conformity at 6.2 feet, where 8 and or 8.75 feet is required. Additionally, I took a look at the overall facade area. Please do not confuse this with floor area. This is just the facade area as relevant to that rear neighbor that will be looking at this portion of the building. The existing is 371 square feet and the proposed is 373 square feet. So really almost identical and not going to be discernible in difference of bulk from an area perspective, but I actually do think the proposed massing is improved for that neighbor. I think it feels a little less intrusive with the pitched roof design. And really that reduction of 5 windows on that side of the property, I think substantially increases the privacy for the adjoining. So I think that actually makes it a much more traditional lot relationship for their experience on the day-to-day. Moving down on the retaining wall on slide 6. So I did conduct a site visit. These photos are taken by me that are in this slide, and they were taken this afternoon, so today, January 12th. So if you recall the tax map that was shown on the earlier slide, there's kind of that cluster of like properties to ours, which are all the undersized properties. Every single one of them actually has the condition we're proposing, which is the garage below grade with a substantial retaining wall, at least on one side of the property. So all of those properties actually have a retaining wall condition that's over the 2 feet high. We're not creating any kind of atypical character, and I really actually argue for this variance, but just for some of the negative criteria as a whole, that we're actually bringing the site like in more in character with what exists on the corridor than it is today. And then just for your benefit, like I said, on the left side of our front facade, that terraced retaining wall approach, that's compliant. It's really the right side that we need that relief for the wall at 6.5 feet. Lastly, you'll see on slide 7, we have our garage. Really, we're just deficient in the width. I would just offer for the board, we are increasing the depth to kind of improve navigability overall. But 9 by 18 is a standard parking spot, so the 9 little shy of 9.5 by 23.5 is more than feasible to accommodate a car. Also, the existing is undersized at the 9.5, so the homeowner has been using an undersized garage from a width perspective. They know how to navigate it safely. They know whether or not it works for their cars and whether they use it as an actual garage storage for cars or just storage area generally for the house. You know, obviously it's a condition they're familiar with, and so I don't see any detriment to the welfare or safety with the granting of that variance. Similarly, with the picture shown on the last slide, all of the existing below grade garages are 1-car garage that are quite narrow, so very similar in scale to what we're proposing here. Okay, so I think I took you through kind of the metrics and a lot of the kind of design rationale for what we're proposing in terms of positive and negative criteria. I do think we're advancing several purposes of the land use law with the application, specifically purpose E, to establish appropriate population densities. This is a single family zone. Most of the talking points in the master plan that have to do with this district and residential districts in general is about maintaining character and density. We are maintaining a single family home. And therefore I do think we advance that purpose. We also advance purpose I, which is to promote a desirable visual environment. I think the architect spoke to how we're kind of improving the charm that already does exist in the house. It's not like this is an eyesore on the street, but we're actually bringing it more into conformance from an aesthetic standpoint with the existing corridor and the other similarly sized homes and properties. In terms of the negative criteria, I don't see any substantial detriment to the granting of the variances. As I stated, we're a single family zone. We're upholding that intent of the ordinance. And I don't see any detriment to welfare or safety with the granting of the variances. I think this is a very clear-cut case where the benefits outweigh the detriments. These are marginal improvements on this home that will make a very big impact on their day-to-day life. From a bulk standpoint, may not even be discernible, probably won't be discernible if you're not an immediate neighbor that looks at the house every day. And that additional floor area is actually spread through several parts of the house. It's not like one large massing getting added onto the structure, so I think it'll be almost indecipherable from the existing home. Additionally, in terms of the master plan, I did review it. We have goal 1, objective 1.01, which is about really protecting the character of the neighborhood, as I spoke to, of residential neighborhoods. And page 48, recommendations for this zone in particular are to ensure that additions to existing homes are compatible with prevailing context and not excessively bulky. I think that's almost a perfect description of the project that's before you tonight. I don't think we're really looking at trying to accomplish anything egregious. I think we're aligning with the intent of the ordinance as closely as can be done on an undersized parcel. And like I said, aesthetically, we're really bringing ourselves more in line with our neighbors than what exists today. So I think I've spoken to the proofs and the purposes of land use law and the master plan, so I'll leave it there. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
First of all, nice testimony.
Thank you.
Refreshing. Any questions?
Can you just go over, in terms of the FAR variance, why, the house can be accommodated on the lot notwithstanding the deviation? Just those are the FAR.
I'm sorry, can you just repeat the question?
Why the house, you believe, is built, can be accommodated on the underside lot notwithstanding the deviation?
Yeah, so I think there's two kind of major components to that. First one being that there are several existing nonconformities that exist, as our architect spoke to, and I addressed, and we're not intensifying any of those from a horizontal standpoint. So in the way we regulate our setbacks, we're not encroaching on any of the setbacks in a more intense way than what is happening on the site right now. Also, the new bulk, as stated, is within those setback lines minus the very small pitch through portion of the second addition on the walk-in closet. But the primary generator of the square footage from an FAR standpoint is that 4th bedroom on the 2nd floor. That is within all the permitted setback areas. So I think one thing for the board to consider is in a scenario where this house was demolished and the site was built from the ground up, that area could be built. Meaning, like, you could have massing located in that exact position, it would be as of right in line. So I don't think we're really disrupting the intent of the zone plan in that way with where we're located, the floor area that's
And the
beyond.
piece you're talking about is a bedroom that goes up.
Correct, yes. That's the biggest generator from a square foot perspective.
The other one is filling in the.
Yeah, it's that 80 square feet, which is really de minimis.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Any questions from the audience regarding this testimony? Then in that case, do you have anything else to present?
I don't, thank you for your time.
You have anything else?
No, we're good.
No,
Thank you
you
so
good?
much.
That's all. Any other questions from the audience regarding this application? Any comments regarding this application? Then I'll close the public portion. Board members, what say you?
So it's always interesting with these because you do see, especially with regards to floor area ratio, you see that number and, you know, it just looks scary and it looks like something we'd never, you know, approve. But when, you know, when you have a presentation like this, and you see that, first of all, because it's already non-conforming, they're only asking for 343 additional square feet and all the proofs have clearly been met, in my opinion, at least. I think that this actually becomes a very easy, you know, application to approve. I think everything was really thoughtfully and tastefully done, and I could absolutely support it.
Awesome.
Well, I agree with a lot of what Jessica said, but I'll also say that that piece that goes out in the back bedroom, the property behind it, there's the retaining wall, which is 6 feet high or so, and there's a lot of you know, shrubbery on top of that. I'm not even sure anyone behind it even sees it. The troubling part of this, and there's nothing you can do about it, I'm not saying it negate anything. The next door neighbor is 3 feet from the property line, 4 feet from the, I mean, the two houses are so close, but you're not exacerbating that. So there's nothing you can
And
do
you're talking about the home on the right.
The home on the right.
Yeah, that's come in front of us several times too, though, a couple times over the years.
Wow. So I'm supportive.
You know, it's amazing when you take a lot and that's a 6,000 square foot zone, and then you chop, 250, 300 square feet off it. It makes a big difference. Just like adding 300 makes a big difference, and that you would be able to take advantage of that. And when you're playing around with 100 square feet here and 300 square feet there, and when you say, okay, we have a hardship of 250 square feet, it's like, we're talking about, tiny spaces. And I think you've done a great job, Mr. Miller, with your massing, by not just building a big block, and you're keeping your elevations as low as possible, and you're also keeping your roof lines a little bit more intricate, which I think really adds the aesthetic appeal. I would be supportive of this application. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the application.
Oh, so one thing. Yeah, let's break it up. Sorry.
Sorry, it's all good. It's okay, you're just a tiny bit rusty.
Take a year off.
Exactly. I'm truly impressed. You hit the ground running, so.
So since we have a D1 variance requiring 5 votes, we're gonna break it up into 2 votes. D4, sorry, this one. Yeah, it's okay. So we're gonna break it up into 2 votes. We're gonna first do that. So in D variance, do I have a motion on that?
I make a motion that we approve the FAR variance.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
David Bradford,
Yes.
Joseph Caulfield,
Yes.
Rick Lightner,
Yes.
Gary Rosen,
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yes.
Beth Dahl,
Yes.
Jessica Black.
Yes.
Okay, so in the remaining 4 variances, inclusive of side yard setback, building coverage, retaining wall, and the garage deviation, do I have a motion regarding the remaining relief requests?
I'll second.
And second.
David Bradford.
Yes.
Joseph Caulfield,
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yes.
Beth Dahl,
Yes.
Jessica Black.
Yes.
Rick Lightner.
Yes, good luck with the project.
I just one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was 6 other variances, does that matter?
Oh, sorry, the way I said it, all remaining variances,
Okay. Alright, sorry.
so, yeah, because the other ones are incorporated in the. So,
Yeah, sorry, thank you so much.
As applied.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We need to see more of that.
Yeah, that was a masterclass.
Congratulations.
I appreciate your time.
Check on first. Check on first.
Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Great job. Congratulations.
Number 4065, 50 Barber. That's it.
Last but not least.
Right. Get special spot.
We're from testimony about the United States Free Cold Street number 2. Your name.
Jason Rubin. I'm the property owner.
Steve Rubin and Nikon Proctor.
Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first. We moved to the town about 4 years ago. We're a family with 2 kids. We've got a standard colonial. What we're seeking approval for is an add-on to house, which I think is somewhere between 340 and 350 square feet. Today, I think that the building coverage is about 13.8%. We're looking to go to 15.5%, to 1.5% over what's currently approved. And really the intent is just to improve the functionality of the house,
bring it up to date. The house was built in 1964, not part of the approval here, what we're seeking, but, we're going to be doing all of the windows in the house, which I think most are from 1964. We're gonna be redoing the siding, and insulation. And then the add-on is really intended to, like I said, improve the functionality of the house. So today, my wife and I both work from home. My wife is home 3 days a week. I'm home 1 day a week now, but I work in the morning usually before leaving and in the evening when I get home and then on weekends. So, we really need more. So from an office standpoint, we've got 4 bedrooms upstairs. My wife currently is using our master bedroom as her office. And then I use the basement as my office, and our dining room is effectively the kids' playroom today. Now that there are 4 and 3, we're looking to have a real dining room and, more importantly, I think use what is currently a office slash bedroom as the office. So we'll add some soundproofing to that, but then putting a bedroom on that floor. So today we've got a space which can be used as guest bedroom and is used as guest bedroom. That'll become the office that I guess my wife and I will share. And then we're putting, the extension would be effectively for a new bedroom on the main floor, which is for a variety of purposes, but I'd say my parents live on Long Island, so when they visit, we've got family in Boston when they visit, and then my father-in-law is actually in the room, but more long-term, near-term, long-term planning, whatever you want to call it, I would suspect that we probably will have some, either my in-laws or parents in the house at some point. So we really need space on the main level. Today, my steps in the garage are actually set up quite dangerously, so we're going to be moving them and making our current pantry a mudroom, and then adding a door where the house will be accessible and sort of private space, so that it's now an ensuite bathroom bedroom with this new space, and it'll be accessible from the main bathroom, will be accessible from the main hallway, but it's intended to section off the house a little bit for when we have those foreseen events that I just mentioned. So,
So who'd you bring with you today?
Yeah, they're a modeling contractor.
So in what capacity are you gonna speak? As a contractor?
If needed.
So who's gonna speak to the variances?
There's only one variance that we're seeking.
Right. But it's still we still need to have proper proofs met and so forth. So that's why, I mean, you can give it a shot, but I mean, you can't speak as a capacity of any, professional, so.
Okay. I've been in business 44 years. Let me, can I open this over here?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did bring a presentation board.
As I said, I mean, it's, as evidenced by what you sat through this evening.
Yeah, I see what.
It's not about, how lovely you're gonna make the property, it's about how you're gonna, tell us how how this property can accommodate without, having any negative impact. So I just, before we get too into it, I just wanna make sure.
I think I can take a crack at that in all fairness as well, but I'll let you go. No. No, I mean, the homes on the street have all been knocked down. I mean, our house is actually small relative to the size of the lot. If you look at the surrounding area, the only person or house impacted is the one that just went up, and it's a massive home on a small property. I would argue that it's more obtrusive to us than the other direction. That is literally, I mean, if we're talking about the negative impact of this, those are the only people that can even see this addition, and it does not affect them.
Is that the people to the right of you?
So if you're looking at my house, it's the people to the right of us. So this is
And how far away would you say they are from you?
30 feet.
24.7 and 4.6.
So that's to their house, to your new development.
No, I'm sorry, that is from
The
the
prop-
existing house to the property line.
Right, and then you would say how far from there to
it's a question from where the new structure will be.
Right, where the new structure will be
Yeah,
to technically their house, how far would you say that is?
so how far is this from to our end?
So your end of your property is 25.
Okay, and theirs is probably another 10, 12 feet off of that. So I think they're about 10 to 12 feet within our property line. This will be, I don't know, I mean, the new structure will be still 20 feet.
And they're
off of
pitched
our
down a
property
little
line.
bit.
Say again?
They're pitched down a little.
Yeah, they're pitched down a little bit, we're pitched down a little bit. I mean, there's really nothing, there's a waste area that's kind
Would
of
you
below
say,
us.
this, what you're doing is gonna affect their light, space,
No.
open air?
House is in front of them.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I can't
I'm
testify,
sorry.
I'm not sworn in, but I'm trying to build a
yeah,
resolution here.
I appreciate
Smelling good.
Yeah.
How many stories is your development, maybe on excess?
Say that again?
How many stories? This,
Our house is 3.
no, how many stories is what you wanna put on the house?
Oh, it's one.
It's a
Just one story,
Yeah,
correct?
it's one story.
Right,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be nothing built on top of it,
There's
correct?
gonna be nothing built on top of it. It's really just a reconfiguration of the space that we already have in addition to this 345 square feet. Ironically, I think 2 square feet more than people before us. And I will add, I'm very happy about the cell tower because we have very terrible service in our neighborhood. And I think that cell tower will improve it massively, so. As a Verizon customer.
Right. Anything else? Yeah. Okay, so,
And is there any mature landscaping existing between your property and the property to the right?
Yes, I mean, when you say that with trees, I don't know,
That
what do you mean by
sounds-
mature
just tree-
landscape?
Mature landscaping sounds like trees to me. Right?
Yeah, pine trees, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
There
They're,
are evergreen trees that effectively potentially screen your neighbor from seeing your addition.
yes, there are trees that are correct, that's right.
Thank you.
It's pretty well covered with trees.
aesthetically, we're using like similar cedar shake that'll be used on the side of the house right now. The new additional blend in.
It'll be hardy blanks, cedar
Okay.
shake, yeah, it'll be just updated, it's
Sure.
Part of the project is to remove the brick on the front, put stone up to the bottom of the window.
Right, and then you're gonna just match it all, the whole house and that. Any questions from the board?
I just want to make sure I'm looking at exactly the right thing. It's this 16 feet 11 inch by 26 inch piece in
Correct,
the back on the first floor.
Yes.
That's it.
yes,
Obviously, there's lots of other work going on in the house. but
yes,
this
that's
is-
the only
But
addition.
that's really what.
I think you have the patio in between, right? That's getting covered, or how's that?
Yeah, the patio is gonna,
It's
it
part-
is patio today, so what
Right.
it's just using some of that patio space.
The other thing I just wanna make sure, like, I know, Eileen reached out to you, I call it attachment E, but well, I was gone for a year and somehow that disappeared. So now it's just this sheet. You guys put, that you were requesting 3231 square feet. Your total building on your plans shows 3229. And I have another calculation of 3141. So I just want to see exactly what you actually need in terms of building coverage. Because I have different numbers on different sheets.
I'm assuming what's on the signed and sealed architectural plan is the best one.
You got 3141 here and you got 3029, 3029. What's? You didn't put max here as 3141 for that, we should say, then with that. So my guess is this.
I don't think it forced this one.
Right.
I think it was much more.
Yeah, I think the 88 square feet of new cover.
Sorry?
I think the difference is the 88 square feet.
Right, so you're actually looking for 3229. It's not going.
Yeah, I guess if we, yes. if we
Because this
tell-
shows 3231.
Yeah.
This shows 3229. The table shows 3141.
Yeah.
So about three different
I
numbers.
understand, yeah, but the difference is really just, my wife who's not here, we debated this, we don't wanna touch the kitchen, we don't have to redo the kitchen, so this is a sell to, a very sensible and
So
practical.
15.88% is what the proposed is with 3229 square feet.
Correct, including that.
Yeah, that includes the whole thing.
Yeah.
This house, addition, and the covered porch being included.
Yes.
Okay, so as long as we got our numbers right.
Yeah.
Any other questions from board? Any questions or comment from the audience?
Can I talk now?
You wanna talk?
Yeah, just the,
Come on up, just come on up. We're going to swear you in. Are you a question or comment?
I just had a comment.
Okay.
Raise your hand. Do you swear from testimony about to give the truth, what you know the truth?
Yes, I
What's the name for the record and address?
Yes. Harvey Scott Rutter, 92 Milburn Avenue, Springfield.
Springfield? Go ahead.
How do you spell your last name?
Rutter. Just so everybody understands, this house, the addition is facing their backyard. It doesn't even face the house. You can't even see anything. They can't even see anything into this. They would have to be on their back deck the way their house is positioned. Because it's facing this way and it was built on the front part of the lot, facing where the back, this addition is, doesn't even look out on anybody. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it. With that, I will close the public portion of this, case. Any comment from the board? I'll do it first, actually. So you had a choice here. You could have built on top of that garage probably as of right. And actually, I think what you're doing is a far better application. Because by getting what you need, you're keeping this massing way down on the house rather than bulking it up top. So I think it's, unfortunately, I was hoping your architect would speak tonight because actually I was gonna compliment him on doing this because this wasn't the easy way to go. This is the better way to go.
He was an advocate of it too, so he can take some.
Yeah, so
With the
as much as
architect.
it's tough to get to come here tonight and sit through, want to enjoy us.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing here, I think what you're doing here is actually
Yeah.
far more beneficial to the neighbors and yourselves. So I appreciate it. So any other comment?
I mean, I'm only say the neighbors aren't here complaining, as this looks very thoughtful to me, and I appreciate them not keeping that. Ditto.
Can I have a motion?
Yes.
Second.
David Bradford,
Yes.
Joseph Alford,
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
Jennifer Black.
Yes.
Rick Henderson.
Yes. Good luck with the project.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
And lastly, is there anything that needs to be discussed that's not?
Give it to your wife and do the kitchen.
What's that? Oh,
Uh-huh.
no, she's winning, I didn't, I wanted to do more, I didn't want to.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Have a good evening.
Wow.